Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your co-host M2 Dave, and I'm here with my co-host MK Rio. Um, so as you guys know, well, let me just say Happy New Year. I know I'm very excited, so I forgot the actual introduction. So Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, 2026. Um, I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year, and we want to kind of focus on MK11 a little bit, and then that kind of transition into larger FGC. Gonna do maybe a shorter podcast than usual today. Um, Rio, what episode is this? I'm sorry.
This
Where are
is
we at right now?
episode 57, and yes, welcome everybody and Happy New Year's to everybody. We had to do a couple recordings because the previous episodes just didn't go as well as we thought, and there was a little drama. And so we're just redoing this, and we're going to start episode 57. And Dave, what is the topic exactly you wanted to talk about for this episode?
Well, as you know, Rio, I kind of played MK11 over the summer. I think the game is maybe slightly better than I remember, and I use that very loosely. And I know you're trying to get back into it. Maybe play MK1.
Yeah,
Uh,
well,
a-
let me explain really quickly because I'm not
yeah.
trying to sound like I quit MK11 and stopped playing or whatever. But as you guys know, I've not played fighting games in quite some time. The last fighting game I was playing was MK11 in like 2021, and the last 3 months of it I was playing Molina. And then we were all waiting for the next MK game to come out, but then we had no idea that the next MK game was going to come out 4 years because there was going to be a big gap from MK11 to MK1. So I kind of got into the CS2, started playing that, ended up becoming, I guess, like a not fighting game player. So now that I'm coming into fighting games, I came back because the Legacy Collection, as you guys saw over the summer, I was very hyped for that. But because it ended up being so bad and horrendous and nobody should ever buy it, now that we're here and it's the new year, now that I'm no longer plan to play Legacy ever again or touch it, now that I'm back into fighting games, I want something to play. So realistically, the only two MK games I could play going forward from here on out are MK11 or MK1. And why is that? Because these two MK games give you something that all the other MK games don't. There's a functioning, full, in-depth ranked mode and ranked system in both games. So if you want to ever play MK11 or MK1, doesn't matter what time of the day it is, doesn't matter when you plan to play, you don't have to go into rooms and find people, you don't have to schedule a doctor appointment with a friend to get on and play you on a day. You just hop on, you play Combat League, it matches you with people of similar skill, and then you can grind your way up and play the game like that. I'm currently looking at a few characters right now. I've been messing around with Fujin, Joker, and as someone who's never played Fujin before, who's just been dabbling with him now, I didn't realize he was this fun and interesting to play. Like, the character is actually really well done. And now it makes sense why so many people were playing Fujin at the last version of the game. Not to say because he was top tier, but also the character's fun to play. Like, he just feels like a very well-designed character. Like, everything about him, even Zan, look at his throw animation, how cool this is. The character just from the ground up, super well-designed, top tier. There's some thought involved into him, the way you can execute his I'm not saying he's super hard to play, but there, compared to other MK11 characters, there's more work into just to use him properly. So probably one of the best designed characters in MK11. It's a shame that a lot of other characters in this game weren't given the same care and effort that went into Fujin, because so far I'm surprised at how fun he is to play with just training mode and messing around with some of his combos.
Leo, let me tell you before we get into like the character details, which I do want to get into because I have plenty of stuff to say about a lot of the characters. So I generally believe, and you guys, if you listen to the old videos, you know the drama what it was about, right? It was, well, not just with us, right? If you listen to even like Zombat, right? He kind of enjoys Mortal Kombat 11 over Mortal Kombat 1. I believe the biggest criticism from about MK11, has always been its universal mechanics. But honestly, like when the game was first released, the universal mechanics were an issue, but I feel like they were an issue to a lesser extent because the power levels were kind of higher of the game. And I'm just going to mention one example. So I know I keep mentioning, and I hope you guys are not bored by like, for example, like Hybrid Katana, right? Once they kind of buffed Hybrid Katana and the razors, the universal mechanics were less of an issue. And I feel like they were less of an issue for like I'm sure like Aaron Black or I don't know, like
Yeah, Aaron didn't
Nightwolf.
care about the mechanics in the game,
Yeah.
like the people were going through, like the wake up roll and breakaway and all that. That didn't affect Aaron.
Yeah. So I feel like the game was kind of ruined ignore the universal mechanics. I think we will all have our agreements and disagreements, but I feel like the game was kind of ruined by all the nerfs to the characters. Once the and I know some of it, some not, I'm not justifying like, rather I am not criticizing every nerf, right? Like for example, Cetrion on release had a like just insane teleport, right? It was just completely broken. Like that was fine to nerf,
That was
but
actually the
like
most
there was,
broken teleport they've ever made in any Icarus game.
yeah,
Actually, was
exactly,
Cetrion's teleport in the beginning of the game.
yeah. So like I'm not criticizing every nerf in the game because I believe some definitely had to happen, but then like I feel like they went way too far and tried to appease maybe people who are not necessarily the best at the game, and they kind of ruined the game after that. Do you agree with my analysis, or do you feel like I'm off?
No, see, the thing about MK1, it's very interesting. So MK1 started off as a game where a lot of characters were very powerful, and I guess the community. Well, I don't want to put all the blame on the community, but I guess the people around the game, whether it's the community or the casuals or the people playing it, kind of expressed that they did not like the power level in the beginning. Like getting hit by Baraka and having you to 80% combo because he had two crushing blows, or getting touched by Geras and then you're watching an MK9 Sykes combo where Geras is doing 90% crushing blow combo, or seeing Jackie fly around the screen like you're playing a Guilty Gear anime game, or and then you're playing it's Cabal and it's like Blaze Blue and you're like, what is this? And your only option is to execute a perfect false block to counter him and up to him, and you better hope your character has a good up to, because then if not, you're basically stuck playing almost like Virtua Fighter while Cabal's playing an anime game, and it's just very all over the place. The thing is that with how strong MK1 started with the power levels and a lot of characters being insanely, I guess overpowering in a lot of ways, a lot of people weren't used to characters having all these, like, how many people do you think were used to playing it's a character like Cetrion, where she's every 5 seconds teleporting away from you and you can never corner her, you can never get near her? It's just like, what is this? At this point, you're not used to like playing stuff like that. It's because this game had all these like weird playstyles and these very like obnoxious things that characters would put you through. It put a bad taste in people's mouth, and they didn't like that, and they kind of requested like, we lessen the broken stuff, we want to play. I even like play. There was notable players like Rico and others that were like, they were it was hard for them to take the game seriously because they said it just felt too broken as a mess, and too many characters would just do whatever they wanted, and you had to kind of play their game, and to that it wasn't enjoyable to a lot of people. So a lot of people were almost on the same page. Like I remember when I was playing Aaron in the beginning, I was getting so much hate. They're like, why are you playing Aaron? You're tier whoring, he's so broken, like you're not good. And it was just constant email. And to be fair, were people wrong? No, Aaron was very, very, very broken and brain dead in like the first 8 months of the game. But I guess in a way, all this information got collected by either them going to Reddit or forums or going to Twitch channels, see people complain about the game and characters being too strong. NRS decided that I guess the best course of action to make MK1 a better game is to start stripping away these powers and make characters, I guess, require more skill and nerf what they're doing that's causing a lot of this drama and issues. However, what people ended up realizing later down the road is after like 18 characters got nerfed and we were left with only a few remaining top tiers, that people started, going, maybe a lot of these characters being very strong back then was actually better for the game. Because now, now you would have, if they never nerfed a lot of characters like they did, if they never nerfed Cassie, Aaron, Geras, Baraka, even Jade from the beta got super nerfed, Scarlet from the beta got super nerfed. If all these characters never toned down like that, maybe we would have more characters in the final version of the game to fight characters like Fujin and Joker and Cabal and so on, and the game would have probably been better overall. So at the end of the day, I guess sometimes patches don't always improve a game. Sometimes they can make it worse for some people by making the game feel, I guess, as you would put it, Dave, more stale and less interesting. Dave, are you there? Your mic might be muted.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you. So, one example that I think you will attest to better than I ever will is like, why was a character like Nigel ever nerfed? Like what are
Well,
they
I'll tell
doing?
you why. And there were, I remember Foxy being one of them, and there was like a group of Nightwolf players that were kind of, I guess, I don't want to say they were emulating what Foxy was doing, but Foxy kind of understood how Nightwolf played since day one or day two of his launch DLC, that Foxy had this perfect game plan of always coming up to throw you or 1-1-1 and abusing his down three poke. This stuff, and I fought Nightwolves that did this in Combat League like that were playing that. It was very hard to fight. However, at the end of the day, you have to accept that some characters are going to be really good at something. Nightwolf, when he was first came out, it was very hard to react to him dashing up to throw you or doing 1-1-1 because his 1-1-1 before was so good, and they nerfed his damage after they nerfed him. They destroyed his down three, and they kind of made the character less annoying and neutral. But when you tone down a character like that, it makes his overall game plan less good. Because
Hold on.
before
Did they nerf
they
one
nerfed his
block?
1-1-1, they made it more unsafe, and they nerfed his combo damage too. Because before 1-1-1, he was getting 40%, and he could hit confirm, and he would throw loop you to death. Because when in MK11, when you have a good jab star animation that's similar to your throw, you can kind of throw people off. They think that you're going for a throw, but you're not. And in MK11 to tech a throw, you have to let go block. So his 1-1-1 was kind of quick, and that it would clip you on the second part and catch you. So you kind of have to at some points commit to either reading he was going to go 1-1 and kind of take the throw mix up, or try to tech out, but then hopefully you don't let go when you go to tech to get clipped by his 1-1-1. And his down three was super good. Nightwolf had the best down three when he came out DLC. It was, think of Noob's down three, but with way better frame data recovery and a better whiff recovery. And when it would hit you, it would force you to guess the 1-1-1 and throw situation. So they gutted Nightwolf's down three, and they gutted his 1-1-1 and his damage when they gave him those nerfs. Specific, and I think it was because now his down three, they nerfed the recovery on it, the frame data. I think that it's less, it's definitely less good on whiff and block. So now when you block down three, you get your turn. Before, he would down three check you, and he could move like very quick after. It was like very good in footsies. And whenever it clipped you or hit you, he would always get to enforce his 1-1 and throw my game. So Nightwolf's very strong in that one. If you were good at that one particular strike throw like game plan with Nightwolf, you were gonna excel in it. It was very strong, and that was probably one of the best.
Do you feel like was he ever top tier in that game, like in MK11?
I don't think he was ever top tier, but when he was at his best like that, he was probably upper mid. Like, he was very good.
Okay, then why?
I don't think. Well, that's the thing. I don't think he shouldn't have been getting nerfed just because there were people doing that, and then the Nightwolf train kind of catched on for a bit. They should have probably just left him like that. Like, yes, was it annoying to play against constant jab check, safe, no risk, and down three in footsies into that over and over? Yeah, but again, that's just how Nightwolf kind of was.
Well, that's exactly my problem with MK11. Again, forget about the universal mechanics, guys. Even if you don't dislike the game, do you see the problem? Like, once you nerf mid-tier characters, NRS, what the hell are you doing? Or what were you doing? That's completely unacceptable. So they exacerbated because obviously the universal mechanics of MK11 are very powerful, but they're powerful because a lot of time because they destroyed characters. I know I'm not talking about, I don't know, Geras or Cetrion, who are still good. Like, they nerfed some of the like mid-tier characters. So now you guys are like, okay, if I have a strong mix-up in the neutral, with 1-1 down 3 whatever command throw, which is cool, right? It's unique. If you nerf that, then like I'm kind of subject to the universal mechanics, right? Like, now I can't do combos because I'm scared of breakaway, or I'm scared of fatal blows even more. And I feel like,
I mean, in my opinion, it's okay to, like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought Nightwolf was a little too scrubby and easy to use the way he was like that.
Yeah.
However, if you're gonna nerf a character because you don't want them to be like strong like that, in my opinion, what they should have done instead of just nerfing Nightwolf, they should have gave him things in return to buff other areas, because he has like a lot of like whatever strings. They should have, if they were gonna nerf him because they didn't want him to only do that and that's it and be annoying, then they should have probably buffed him in other areas. So just nerfing him and that's it.
no, I
because they even did this with Shiva and other characters. Like, when they nerfed Aaron, they kind of just nerfed him, didn't give him anything in return. They nerfed Shiva, and no one played her ever again, and they didn't give her anything in return. It's like they just, I guess, wanted characters to not be good.
I feel like
I don't mind characters getting nerfed as long as they buff them other areas and make them take more skill to be good. But if they want to nerf a scrubby character like Shiva, okay, fine. But then they're not giving her anything in return, so it's like, well, you just deleted a character basically.
Yeah, and I do believe she probably needed some nerfs, right? But like, I think they overdid it with a lot of the characters. and that's kind of why the game kind of ended up being what it was, which was essentially like I believe the last two major tournaments for the game were essentially Fujin mirrors, right? One was at Evo a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and there was,
Right.
I think Final Comment might have been another Fujin mirror.
Yo,
So
Slayer, thanks so much for the raid, man. How you been,
Fujin
dude? Happy New Year
obviously
to
is
you.
very strong, but I feel like if you had kept some of the older, some of the more powerful, levels, then maybe he would have been okay-ish to fight against. But because they were literally nerfing mid-tier characters, which was a major mistake, scrubby or not, that's why the game kind of ended up being the way it was. Whereas I feel like it would have been, even for people like me, obviously I'm biased, I don't like the game, but it would have been more tolerable if they had kept something like, you know, Razors or the Nightfall of examples. I'm sure there are others that you would know better than I would. I feel like people would have tolerated the game more, and it could have attracted more players towards the very end instead
Yeah,
of
well, the
listening.
problem is the issue is the beginning of how the game was perceived. It was perceived as this
Yeah,
broken like game where too many characters doing. People wanted basically. You remember that whole, I guess outcry. I'm not even talking about the Jackie Ban movement, but the whole we want to play grounded footsies. We don't want characters doing anything that's not just walking back and forth playing footsies. If it's that, it's too much. You remember that? That was going on for like a year. They're like, they need to make this
yeah.
game just be footsies and neutral, no more all this. And how do you do that? Well, you're gonna have to strip away a lot of these characters and take away what they're doing to you, so that they can only walk backwards and forwards. And that I guess you're playing footsies now, if you want to call it that.
Well, let me kind of follow up with this topic, and I think we may disagree with this on this one. I feel like footsies are literally the most overrated thing ever about fighting games. Why? Because people talk about these neutral skipping tools, right? Like footsie skipping tools. But if you guys have ever played Super Turbo or any other fighting game of that generation, like neutral skipping tools are part of the neutral. Like the moment they added a fireball in fighting games, like isn't that a neutral skipping tool? Like you're literally putting a hitbox on the screen that's like full screen, right? Like that's not, or it doesn't have to be a fireball. Like I don't know, Bison doing a full screen cycle crusher, or you know, uh,
Like
Boxer
Cammy
doing
doing jumping and doing a dive kick.
exactly like all those tools are part of the neutral. Like I know people like to pretend like, oh my god, that's neutral skipping, that's so broken. But like, I mean, I don't like to fight against some of that stuff. Like you guys, if you've ever seen against Super Turbo with like uh Vega, Claw like literally like diving around and just doing like broken stuff. But it sucks, but like if you want to have your BS, then the other guy has to have his or her BS by design. And I feel like the developers kind of fell into that trap, trying to make like quote unquote footsies, yet Sub Zero is hitting you with with a 31% slide crushing blow. It's just like,
Yeah, well, you
wait,
got to
what?
ask yourself, why is Sub Zero good in MK1? He hasn't been nerfed yet. He's one
Uh,
of the few that haven't been nerfed yet.
exactly. So
Think
wait,
of all the characters that haven't been nerfed yet, like Cabal, Fujin, Joker, Sub Zero, Spawn. All these characters are usually tend to be in the high tier because they had that final patch that never came out. They're lucky that patch never came out because you know who that patch would have been toning down first? Fujin, Joker, all these characters would have gotten immediately toned down.
well, that's the irony, right? Is that like, wait a minute. So Nightwall was broken, but Sub Zero, that was broken, had to be nerfed, whatever, was annoying, whatever you want to call it. But then Sub Zero gets to keep his 50-50 and gets to just literally slide for 31%. Like, the balance of the game just doesn't make any sense. Again, folks, forget all about the passion, the drama, personal or not. Like, forget all that stuff. The balance of the game makes no sense. Like, I'm sure Rio, you would agree with this, right? It literally, the balance
Yeah,
of the
well, I
game
mean, this is how
makes
usually all
zero
games
sense.
go around. Once games stop getting supported with patches or whatever, there's always going to be characters that weren't addressed still. They got forgotten about, or they were, the developers were distracted because they were too busy handling and nerfing other characters. They never got to those characters finally to, fully nerf them from top to bottom. And that it kind of sucks if that's what happens. Like when MK11 stopped getting addressed with patches, whatever characters remained standing that got nerfed the least, a lot of them would have probably gotten toned down in the final patch. Like they probably would have nerfed Joker more. They probably would have nerfed Spawn. They probably would have nerfed Fujin. They probably would have nerfed whatever other character was good or complained about.
I feel like the difference between MK1 and MK11 is the fact that MK1 kind of started with low power levels, with the exception of obviously Cyrax, the cameo. But then they started buffing mostly while nerfing the stuff that even I, who supports high level play, high power levels, would agree that they needed to be nerfed. I don't know, like stuff like Raiden's Shocker, which was too good. But now Raiden's ironic, it could be top tier because the buffs that he got, which you know are completely different, which are completely which are not related to the to the low shocker to the shocker anymore. Uh, so I personally will always. I feel like, and maybe Ryu, you will disagree. I always feel like higher power levels is almost always the way to go. That doesn't mean you have that, I don't know, teleport that's full screen and has no recovery frames. No, right? That needs to be nerfed. But like for the most part, like if you want to have a balanced game, even if people are not necessarily happy at the moment, at the time being, because they feel like they're being scrubbed out or frauded out, you usually want to be like, you know what? Let's keep it this way because the opposite, the knee jerk reaction usually leads to a game that's boring, less balanced, and less fun for people.
Yeah, to me, it really depends how they do it, really, more than the actual power level. Like, I don't mind playing a high power level game if it's done right and it's not scrubby where you're just, here's the high power level game. Everybody's just doing 50/50s or armor launchers and they're in your face 20%.
Yeah.
That to me would not be fun. I would just find that game stupid, even though you could argue it is high power level. And I don't mind playing a low power level game if it's actually about skill and stuff. Like, look at MKDA compared to like MKX or whatever. MKDA, people would probably play that and be like, what is this? There's like no juice here. You hit someone with a low and that's it. You can't chain the low until special until full combo. No, the game is more on the lower power level side, but I find it fun just how the game is designed. So to me, it's more about how they design the game rather than, oh, I'm only going to play this because it's high power level. I'm only going to play this because it's low power level. To me, it really depends how they do it.
Well, that's a separate discussion. I don't know if the game is necessarily a low power level.
Yeah, well, I'm talking
Because
about the whole power level thing. Like to me, I don't. It really depends how they do it. Like if they do it right, where it's not like everything is super brain dead, then I don't mind it being high power level. It's just it's really all up to how they do the game.
no, that's a fair talking point. I feel like as much as people like me and Tom and many, many, many others have hated on Mortal Kombat 11, I think the one point that you have been right on is if they hadn't nerfed some of the characters as hard as they did, them obviously being NRS, I feel like the game would have been enjoyable, at least retrospectively speaking, for a lot more people. Maybe not at the at the time being, or in the moment, right? But I feel like you have a good case of why are we nerfing mid-tier characters, whereas like the other just whatever, because they're scrubby or whatever, when characters like Fujin were better than Nightwolf and have ever been better than Nightwolf. Like why are they untouched if you're gonna follow the nerf routine, right? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's why to this day I believe, just because of that, that in that aspect, I feel like Mortal Kombat 11 is the worst modern Mortal Kombat game just because of that reason. When it could have been actually better, and I myself would play it and I would have no problems with it. But again, because they nerfed so many characters so much, the universal mechanics took over, unless you're using Fujin or some of the other top tier characters.
Yeah, I think it really depends. Like, I mean, I couldn't even play Aaron anymore in MKL without bad they nerfed them. Now that I'm playing again, I think the game is really fun if you're playing the top tiers. But I guess you could say that about any fighting game. If you're playing really good characters, it's actually usually fun.
But I feel like some other games, like maybe MKX, I know it's super universal, but like,
dude, I tried when I came back to MKX the other month, and I tried playing the low tiers because the characters that play in the game sadly are low tier now, like Aaron Black and Hunter Predator.
Yeah,
the game is not fun, bro. Those characters suck. Like they have Aaron Black literally has no mids in MKX. I don't know how you make a character with no mids, but that's what Aaron is in MKX. So I mean, I would probably have fun in MKX if I started playing characters like Katana, Liu Kang, and so on. It's really at the end of the day, you're gonna have to play the good characters really to make the most out of the
I feel
game.
like I feel like that's why I praise MK1 because in MK1 I don't know who's the worst, Tanya, maybe Quan Chi, and I believe those characters to this day need buffs. But like depending on whom you ask, like they can still be even be classified as mid tier characters. So like you know that's how strong the overall power level is, right? Like when I say power level, I don't mean like hey MK9, right? The top five, six are fucking stupid, and then like the rest kind of like why are these characters even in the game? They shouldn't even be in this game, right? Like I feel like there's plenty of stuff to criticize modern fighting games about, but I feel like usually they get the balance and the overall power levels right. And I don't think it's just Mortal Kombat 1. I think you can add Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 to the equation as well, right? Like um, most characters are viable. Obviously, if you're playing for $1 million, you wouldn't show up, playing a low tier. But like, if you turn on your game after 8, 9, 10 hours of work, and you just kind of want to have fun and use your favorite character, and maybe play ranked, you could do that and still do okay, right? Whereas if you played MK9, why in the world would you ever use Kano or Shiva? There's no reason. These characters are garbage. Why would you use MK11 Nightwolf? Like, there's no reason. They're just worse versions of other characters. Um, and I feel like the modern games, in spite of all their flaws, that's something that they do very well. What do you think, Ria?
Well, I feel like why MK1 may seem to be super balanced is because the way that I guess they're in a. I hate to give NRS credit on this because I cannot stand the cameo system, but I guess when you make a variation system where every character in the game can pick variations that they want, so not
True.
only some characters get good variations, others don't. That the reason why the balance seems better in MK1 is because now instead of some characters having good variations, like imagine in MK1 if you could have whatever low tier all of a sudden choose Jackie's leap or moves like that, they're all suddenly gonna be good at the
Or eight
game.
frame mid or something like that, right?
Yeah, like if you could now, because in MK1, I guess in a weird way, the what is it? Cameos are improvement of the variations because instead of being locked for some characters only, every character in the game can pick any variation they want with the cameo. Then now there's a better chance of you, even if you play low tier, finding a variation that meshes with them so that they could compete better than they would if you didn't have that option. But I still hate all. I hate in general variations and cameos, in my opinion, and customs.
No,
Like all this, I'm not a fan of. I think next game they just need to get rid of that.
Homogeneity.
well,
What was
I'm
that?
literally look, I'm literally looking up the word that I was gonna say because I'm forgetting
Oh,
about
that
it,
came
and then
from you. I was like, what the hell was that? I
yeah,
just heard like a random. I'm like, whoa.
just to I don't
I thought
just
that
so
was
I
someone
don't I
playing like
don't
a voice clip or something for a second.
just I don't sound ignorant. I had to look up this word, and it's homogeneity, right? Like it
Yeah, when
literally
you make a lot of
means
characters similar or close to being the
correct, correct.
same.
And I had to look it up, guys, and I kind of
But I
feel
mean, at the end of
embarrassed.
the day, that's what some of the most balanced games are. That's how they
Correct,
do it. But I
correct.
don't like when balance is achieved
Yeah.
like that. Well, why is the game balanced? Because everyone can do 50-50s or everyone can do the same stuff. At that point, it makes the game less interesting from character to character.
Yeah, I'm just using this word so guys so it can sound smart, but essentially means like we're just it's kind of insinuated. It kind of means like every character kind of playing to some extent similar to achieve balance, right? Which is I think in fighting games is kind of inevitable, right? Like, do you want to play a game that's like Mortal Kombat like 9, where in which you have I don't know like Freddy's on you full screen, and then Kenshi's absolutely crazy at mid range, and then you have Cyrus comboing you, for all this damage, and you have Cabal who's super versatile, and then you have like Smoke is just destroys everybody who even thinks about zoning. So how do you balance a game like that? I don't think you can. I think you can make it more balanced, but I don't think you can make it anywhere near as balanced as like the modern games. And I will leave it up to you to decide what you guys want to play. But I'm just telling you, in a modern era of social media, um, in a modern era of spectatorship, in a modern era of sponsorship, if you're a high level player, I don't think the older games would survive. I don't think the the complete lack of balance would survive. That's why most matchups in modern fighting games, not all obviously, more or less like the worst matchup is usually like what, like 6-4, maybe 6.5, 3.5, or something like that. Whereas in the old games, if you play like, or if you play like at your peak, would you ever be worried about, I don't know, fighting a Kano player in Mortal Kombat 9 or Shiva player?
No, the
Like,
character. I forgot the character exists. Honestly, every time I think of MK9, but the problem is, I don't know. I feel like okay. I want to know who designed Fujin in MK11 because they made like one of the coolest characters, and who designed Cabal in MK9. Like, who are the people that designed these characters? I'm so curious to know what interests because I think we need to make them design more characters. Because whenever they design a character, they seem to make them like insanely fun and creative, and they go crazy with the character, and making people be like, "Ooh, when I play this character, I'm able to do all this, and this looks cool, and this is swaggy."
yeah, I don't
Do
know.
we know who designed Fujin in MK11? Like, who was the person responsible for creating this character and balancing him?
I can attribute more to MK1's designs. I hear from a good source that Dizzy designed Geras in Mortal Kombat 1. I believe Dizzy
Yeah,
did
well,
an
Gears was always a guy. I even think he's cool in MK11. I think he's actually the coolest new character out of that
I,
they
but I
introduced in
believe,
MK11.
yeah, I believe that especially in MK1, I think he did an exceptional job. Geras in MK1 is kind of like a defensive type character, which in this
Yeah, I
day and
think he's
age,
he's literally, I guess, like MK11 Gears, but with more thought behind it and more depth,
yeah,
instead
yeah,
of and less being a little
exactly,
bit less brain dead than he was in MK11.
exactly, exactly. So it's almost like the perfect, maybe perhaps semi-perfect, defensive design in the modern, fighting game era. So I think Dizzy, I hear, is responsible for that. I think he did an exceptional job. Um, and I'm sure you would agree that those are the type of characters as somebody who prefers the older games, those are the type of characters you would like to see more of in future fighting games, correct?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying they need to be like super strong as Fujin and tier wise.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about when you play Fujin, you can see that there's like a lot of creativity behind it. Like the way you combo, the way you have to position yourself with the cyclone to get the combo to work, the way you can do things in different aspects. Like there's like you have one move Fujin, but you can use it in like 4 different ways, like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of thought and design behind the character, and he also looks cool and swaggy on top of it. Like he's not just like he doesn't look like a character that's just doing one like a dead shot, was just doing one projectile over and over, like super boring. Like they actually did a good job designing how he functions.
no, absolutely. I still feel like Mortal Kombat 1, cameo system aside, still has the most complex characters, aside from maybe Mortal Kombat 9. And I'm referring to characters like Kenshi, again, the aforementioned Geras. I would probably also add even some of the low tier characters like Quan Chi. Um, I would also add, I don't know, Noob. I would add, to a lesser extent, Peacemaker. I feel like they're on the right track. They just have to remove the cameo system, the variation system from the equation. And I feel like
The funny
it
thing is,
could
if they
be,
remove the camera variations, all the characters you just explained, they could even have them have way more depth and more moves now with the cameo
yeah,
system gone. 'Cause I feel
correct.
like the cameo system is making a lot of these characters be contained with how much they could be designed in a way, because you can't put too much. Imagine like you can't have Fujin the way he is in MK11 being MK1 access to all his cameos. There would be something that would be too broken, and then they'd have to redesign Fujin in a way or remove some stuff from him so he wouldn't break the cameo system. So in a weird way, the cameo system makes it so even though there's some characters that are designed very good, like you said, like Gears and MK1, I wonder how much better they would be designed and how much more freedom the people behind it could create the character to be if they weren't having to make something to have to mesh with the cameo system.
Absolutely. And I think there's plenty of stuff we all disagree on, but I think there's some stuff we all agree on. Maybe that we can transition to this topic. I feel like we don't want interactables. We don't want a variation slash cameo custom move system. Um, you, you agree, right? Is that fair to say?
I'm not a fan of that. No.
Yeah. We don't want.
I mean, if they're gonna do something where you can pick and choose what you want, so you can't have everything at the same time, then in my opinion, the way to do that is do it how they did in 3D MKs. How you can't be in all stances at the same time. You have to pick
Yeah.
and choose. Like if you're playing Reptile and MKDA, well, if you play his Hungar stance, that's more footsies. If you play his crab stance, that's more mix-up. So you have to pick and choose. Do you want to play more of the mix-up stance where you're going to have a lot better neutral and footsies, which you use when you're up close, or do you want to play the Hungar stance where you're more footsies neutral, but your mix-ups are weaker? Like I think that's the way to go. So you can't have everything at the same time. You have to pick and choose. But the whole like having to choose before you load into a match and that's all you have for the rest of the match, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I believe somebody. I was browsing.
But imagine you were playing Fujin MK11, right? And during the game, you could transition from stances. Like one variation, I'm Wind God. Next variation, I'm Skywalker. And that, like, and you have to pick and choose what you're kind of going for. Like, do I want to play more foot? Do I need more offense? Or like that would be more interesting than to have it be like you have to choose a character select screen. I think that would make characters feel better to play.
There was somebody in Test Your Might that I was browsing a thread. I believe maybe Felipe made a post. Dude, I completely forgot about like the stance. You know, it's been so long. No, the stance system, right, from the older.
Yeah, that's what I'm
3D
saying.
games.
That's when they first did a whole. You can't have everything. You have to pick and choose, but at least you can do it during the game when you want. But Foxy
Yeah,
Grandma says, and look, I haven't played MK1 yet. I'm gonna play MK1 shortly, probably tomorrow. I'm gonna start playing it because I do want to get into that game and see how that game is. Because again, that game has Combat League, which in my opinion is the best mode NRS has ever made for anything. Is them making a serious rank mode like Combat League? I'm so glad we have that now. But Foxy Grandma mentioned how Ghost Face works. He's kind of like that. He's like a stance character I just explained, where you have to pick and choose what stance you want to be to get. Now, I haven't played Ghost Face yet, so I don't know how the character works exactly. But is that how he works? Like, you in one stance you have more mix-up base, other stance you're maybe more footsies or neutral. Like,
Rio, you will be disappointed, my friend.
with what's Ghost Face?
No, the character's just like I like the concept, but he's essentially like a vortex character. He
Yeah,
just
but how does
mixes-
he work though? Like, but Foxy Grandma mentioned that he's a character that you kind of have to transition from stances or whatever to be what you want or what you're going for. Is that how he works or not?
He does in concept, but in practice, all he does is just like mix you up because he has an overhead.
Oh, so you're
that's
saying
safe.
usually what people do is they just go into whatever the back row stance is and they just want to mix you up over and over and they don't use the other ones?
That's,
Is that what,
that's not even the stats. That's literally the default stats because to switch stats, you have to like it requires meter for you to use, right? Like to go into the other stances. Now, in my humble opinion, it would have been a lot more interesting to have the stances not require meter, not and have not
so you
having
need
a
meter to transition from stance. That's weird. So you
Correct,
can't,
yeah.
like if I'm playing Reptile MKD, I can't go from Hungar to Crab unless I use a bar
No,
meter.
yeah,
That's
correct.
I guess the stances are super strong then if they require meter.
Well, not really, because usually in the default stance, you're just kind of like mixing. You're doing the overhead and the low, and he also has a command throw. I think it would have been a lot more interesting to get rid of the overhead and perhaps have him be more of a like, you know, stance character like you suggested, but without the meter. And maybe, like depending on the
Mr. Zeke
matchup.
said this. He said, what he said in the chat was Rio, one stance is Kira with zoning, the other one is more like Rekka pressure, I'm guessing with Cobra,
Yeah.
and then like you said, his default is more like the command grab 50-50.
Yeah. But most of the time people are in the default stance, right? Because why would you waste meter to be in the other stances that do not necessarily have
Well, I mean, do you
strong
lose your command grab in 50-50s when you go to other stances?
No, you do not, but like
Okay, so they just
Why-
add you more options on top of that.
yeah, like why would
now,
you
Okay, now it makes sense why it costs a bar then. If they're just adding instead of switching or removing things to compensate for other moves. So you're always, so basically with Scream you always have the 50-50 or command throw, but now if you go into Kira, now you have added zoning on top of what you have, and then if you go into Cobra, you have like the Rekka pressure and stuff like that.
more or less do, but trust me, that character is just like all like vortex. Like it's not I don't think it's that complicated. I feel like the opportunity was missed to make him more interesting. But instead it's just like you're just mixing over and over and again no matter what stance you are. Which is my criticism of the modern fighting games. I don't mind. I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 characters, like being super mixed, but like there are still too many in MK1. You have Homelander, essentially a command throw character. Then there's Reiko now, like we have just mentioned. There's Ghostface. Uh, Styrax is essentially literally like an unblockable type of um, command throw character. I feel like that's okay to have. I don't mind it. I want all gameplay styles represented, but like it's just kind of like too much. Remember Rio when MK11, ironically, like people complained about uh, Kotal Khan and remember his command
Oh yeah, I
throw?
remember that huge era where it was like a 8 month or 6 month period where in MK11 everybody wanted command grabs removed because they were like anti footsies or how the game should play or anti fairness. Like command grab shouldn't be a thing. You should only have to do high throws. It's too unfair. You have to jump to avoid them, and it's like, dude, that's literally how command grabs work. You have to, yes, stay away from the person to get in and not be on the ground or you're getting thrown. That's like the whole concept of the character design. But yeah, that was crazy.
Well, they remember. Well, even if you remember in Mortal Kombat 1 the release, right, the command throws were like pretty weak, and then they added this patch, and a couple of patches later, 3 4 patches later, now you have Reiko. They subdued his stars, but now he's a command throw character, and they added Homelander, and obviously there's Cyrax, and it's almost like they kind of reverted the old meta, right, and then some for the command, as far as command throws are concerned. Um, I know it sounds a little bit hypocritical, but I feel like it's too much, and there's too much quote unquote sameness or homogeneity, right? Like they need to do a better job of in a future game of trying to represent as many gameplay styles as possible, especially when it comes to the defensive types. Um, and that's always been my biggest criticism of Mortal Kombat 1. It's just the like, you guys have seen what Sonic Fox did with like Cyrax, what Rewind has done with Reiko and Homelander. I can mention so many players like Online Kale, etc., etc. Like, there's no way that stuff is on the same terms as like any of the zoning in or any of the defensive gameplay in Mortal Kombat 1. And that's always been my biggest criticism. Not just about Mortal Kombat 1, but also like Street Fighter 6, right? Like if you're in Burnout, like people, characters essentially have like block infinitives, like push you to the corner, then they do the drive impact that stun you and do a huge combo. It's just like, man, it's a tough pill to swallow if you are again a zoning or defensive player, and it's very frustrating to fight some of those matchups and to motivate yourself to keep going.
Yeah, and the thing is, with MK1, I feel like a lot of the designs kind of were there that they could expand it on. Like with Havoc, when I was first playing him, even though I ended up not liking him, I thought the one thing I really liked about him was how he could extend his limbs. They would like, what's the best way to put it? They would detach from him and then give him extra range. They could have turned him if they wanted to buff him into like a Dawson type MK character, which we never really had before. A character fighting you from like near full screen with normals. And it's sad that instead of them going that route with him, they turned him into just, I guess, a 50-50 character. So, I mean, maybe going forward, they can try to design characters to be more unique from each other. But you'd have to make sure, Havoc wouldn't be too stupid, right? If he's full screen spamming normals. Like, if he's going to be a character like that, he probably shouldn't have 50-50 launchers. You can have him have his armor, but it probably shouldn't be fast and buff like they did. It should probably be one of the weaker armors. But don't you think it would have been more interesting if he's like a Dalsum type MK character where he's like mid screen, half screen, fighting you in the air with like these limbs and just doing stuff like that? I think that would have been cool.
Absolutely, I think one of the most recent quote unquote defensive or zoning types, depending how you define, the archetype that I've had the most fun with was Poison at 3/5. Like she doesn't even have a projectile, but it's like she has this stance. With the whip, she can hit you, like a straight whip that goes like more than half screen. Then she has like, if you try to jump, she has, like an anti-air whip. She even has a low whip, and she just has enough offense to to make it count, if you will, but not on the same terms, obviously, as the most offensive characters. And then she has, uh, you know, um, this move that kind of pulls you in with the whip. That's plus, but it requires meter. But if you use your EX, then you lose your ability to combo with your super, so you lose a lot of damage. So like, there's a lot of like decisions. There's some decision making involved. That's something I would like to see in Mortal Kombat. In a future Mortal Kombat game. Um, because I think it would make an interesting design. It would be an interesting design to have like a mid-range zoner without a projectile, which I don't think which is not something they have ever done before, right?
I guess the closest character that comes to this is MKX Takeda, but he uses kunais a lot, which is a projectile, to be like plus from range. You remember that string has 4-1, 2+4?
Yeah.
You can't jump it because hits you out of the air, so you have to stay on the ground. It has a massive non-hurt box, so you block it from far, and then he could throw kunai, and then he's like +2, +3, depending on the range. So that's probably the closest ever done with like a mid-range character that's constantly bullying you and keeping you in a spot with that. But for the most part, yeah, they don't really have a character that does that in MK, like a Dawson type, like half screen normal character.
Yeah, I think that's something like they need to maybe explore, and test, before they design a fighting game and see how that would work out. Because I feel like we all know that spectatorship, whether we like it or not, is a huge impact, has a huge impact on modern fighting games. It's no longer, and I don't know, Rio will hate me for saying this, it's no longer about the player experience. It's also about hey, if I'm doing this, what does you know, the guy looking behind my back, what does he or she, what do they think about what I'm doing? And I think the more interactive, the more interesting you can make the defense and the zoning, that those type of designs will succeed. And anything that's pew pew, just do the one thing and over again, that stuff will fail and will get nerfed eventually, as we have learned in the NRS experience over the years.
Yeah, you know what? Now I think about it, with some of the mid range, Setron kind of fits that bill, but she just doesn't only do it normals. It's the
Correct.
one with
Yeah.
deadly wins. So you have Setron. I mean, even MK9 Kenshi does it, but his is like so effortless with the shoulder spam.
Yeah.
So he's like the super brain dead version of what you kind of want, like the mid screen lockdown control. But yeah, it's like Kenshi from MK9, Setron from MK11, Takeda from MKX. I can't comment much on MK1, but is there a character like that like locks you down mid screen with normals? Or a special that they spam?
Are you referring to MK1?
Yeah.
I mean, not really. I feel like that archetype is still kind of lacking. Maybe you can argue Melina, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it exists to the extent that it should, unfortunately. Um,
What about
but let me ask.
Reiko? Somebody mentioned that.
Well,
Like, he
he's
can,
a commander. He's a
yeah,
commander.
but I mean, can he like lock people in footies with like keeping them
Oh
out?
yeah. He can, but he's a commander, which I feel like
Yeah, that kind of makes the design feel a little weird because it's like imagine
Yeah.
Poison had a command grab all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, actually, she did with one of the V skills, but like, keep in mind that Reiko can run at you, which kind of like changes the dynamic of.
Yeah, he has the command run.
Yeah, so that changes the dynamic of the character. But let me ask you this question, and we'll kind of wrap it up on this. So, how do you balance not in, well, maybe in terms of fighting games and in real life in general, like in an era of social media in which everybody has a strong opinion, whether it's right or wrong. Like, how do you keep everybody somewhat happy? How do you balance fighting games? How do you, uh, if you're a developer, how do you maximize sales to keep your bosses happy? How do you please everybody? Is it possible, or is it an impossible task? How would you approach it?
And
I
I
know
think
it's a
it's
complicated.
possible. I think you need to have, instead of everybody doing the same thing, you need to have whoever you're hiring teams doing different stuff. Like whoever's the team hired to design the characters and make the gameplay be good needs to do that. And then you can have a different team doing in charge of the story mode, make sure the story's good. Then you can have a different team doing the art, like all that, instead of having, I guess, everybody do everything, because then it kind of is all over the place.
would you always begin your fighting games? You know, like if you were a developer
Before you,
with
I
those
think in my
five.
opinion, before you even make the characters and stuff, you have to make sure the game feels good, like the base of everything. Like have two characters with that use the system of the game, like the movement, the just how the game works at the like basic foundation. It needs to feel fun and fluid and all that before you even get to the characters.
But even forget the gameplay. Would you even, the basic functionality of the game? Would you begin any fighting game with those 5 or 6 topics? Not topics, but the 5 or 6 aspects that you talked about. I don't know, like 6 months ago before MK Legacy was even released.
Yeah, well, the thing with that is that only works if the gameplay is really good. If the gameplay sucks, then I don't think a lot of people are going to care if it has ranked and crossplay and all this. If the game is not good, I think it has to be both. The game has to be good, then you need to have all those features. Because if the gameplay is very good, we don't have all those features, then no one can play your game.
Well, the problem is, again, on a more controversial note, like you called MK11 good. I called MKX good. We already pissed off like half our audience, probably, right? Like, because a lot of people don't think MKX is good at all because too much 50/50s. MK11, we just went over it, right? The nerfs, the universal mechanics, etc., right? We don't have to rehash the whole topic. So, like, I feel like you have to begin each fighting game with those 5 or 6, aspects. Like, you have to have a rank, you have to have a
I mean, I
comprehensive
don't even
practice.
think MKX is that bad of a game. Again, I never really played much of the last patch to have a full opinion on it.
Yeah, but
Aside from Aaron and Hunter Predator being trash, the thing that sucks about MKX is there's no ranked mode. So even if you really want to get into it with no combat league, it's kind of hard because you have to go into rooms and then hope these people are going to want to waste time playing against you. So it's less appealing. It's like, what are we playing Deception from 2004? We go to rooms to play against each other. So it's such an outdated way to want to get good at a game. I understand rooms are very good to play against your friends and to do a tournament stuff. When you're someone who wants to get home and just play against a very like other people of your skill, now I have to do all this room nonsense and challenging 20 people hoping they accept or not AFK. Like it's just no one has time for that really. They just want to get into a game, join Combat League, start a queue up, and then play.
I feel like MKX is maybe more so guilty than any other Mortal Kombat game. Uh, 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 with its flaw about the aforementioned homogeneity problem, right? Like, yeah, of course, if you
Yeah,
make
well, I mean, the thing is, no one plays MKX for all these amazing, different, drastic playstyles. They play it because they like doing 50-50s in the offense and how the game plays.
no, absolutely, but that's my point, though.
Like, even the 3MKs, as much as we complain about the 50-50s, there were people that liked the 3MKs because it was just 50-50s and stuff like that. So some people are just into things like that.
but that kind of proves my point. It's just like you like the meta that you like, and many players, perhaps Ninja Killer, uh, above everybody. Like he kind of made a name for himself, right? Initially playing Mortal Kombat X, but like it's not necessarily the game
Does he
that
still
you and
play
I.
MKX though? I haven't seen him play MKX in so long. Like, did he just abandon the game or stop playing it? Like, what happened with that? Because I remember he used to be so huge on MKX, but then he kind of just stopped playing it ever since MK11 came out. I don't think I've seen him
Yeah.
enter tournaments and play much of it since MK11, which was
No,
like
I think
6 years ago.
the most recent set that he uploaded was actually MK1, in which he used
Yeah, no, I'm
the.
saying, but what about MKX? Like, did he just stop playing the game, or does he
I
not play
think he
because there's
did.
no ranked?
I don't know. But the point is, meta and anything balance related, anything if there's a creativity, will always be subjective. Um, Again, I don't think it's a
But not
personal
really
argument.
though, because meta games can have similar meta, but be done completely different. Like look at the 3D MKs; they have literally the same exact meta as MKX. They're all 50-50 based. The only difference is, I'd rather play a game like MKDA that's all 50-50 based rather than a game like MKX that's all 50-50 based. Because, like again, hitting someone with a down one, as simplistic as that in MKX, being plus 20, and then you get to do a guaranteed Ermac overhead or low and rinse repeat. That to me is just a bit too brain dead. Like it's not something I would prefer to play.
I
And
don't know,
then on
man.
top of that, the whole armor, not every character is just machine gunning armor for one bar.
I would argue that at its peak, well, I liked MKX because ironically, again, which is like MKX is a game like when you play it, like you're gonna there around you're just gonna get destroyed. Like you haven't. it's so fast paced in terms of offense and the 50-50s and the pressure. You're just gonna get bodied. Um, but I liked it nonetheless because of the armor, which again many of you despised, and I completely understand why. That's when the subjectivity comes into play. Like if you're going to add, if you're going not add, but if you're going to implement a game that's highly offensive, and most of the offense is, let's be serious here, like a word that Rio would use, like very scrubby, very like low effort and high reward, then you by design you have to have some kind of counterplay to it, right? Like, and in
But
this
see, but here's
sense,
the thing though, I don't mind. It's not that I hate armor or I hate 50-50s, never want to see them. It's that how they're done. Like when armor is done so lazily, that this is how armor works. Everybody has armor. You just EX a move and it's same exact move, same animation, but just coded in armor. I think that's so lazy. I think if they're gonna make armor moves, they need to add
Rio,
depth
I'm
and
not,
just like to do
Rio, I'm not
50-50s. Like instead of having a 50-50 be hit someone with a poke or block a jump in, they have to get 50-50 constantly. I think
Rio,
there's
this is
better ways to
what I
do
like
it.
about- I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I think you're 100% correct. But like that's the game, bro. Like you either accept it or you do not. They're not gonna add. Oh my God, look at Quan Chi now
Right,
has
but what
all.
I'm saying is when people ask like, do I want the next MK game to be like MKX? My answer is no. I think they should
No,
make
and
a
I would
game
agree. And
better
I
than
would agree with you.
MKX. If they're gonna make it like
But I'm
MKX
just
with the
saying,
meta, then they gotta design 50-50s better. They gotta do the armor system better. They gotta make the way the game played take more effort than how it was done.
Rio, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I'm all 100% for it. But like, remember the patches, and we have talked about this many times before. Like, remember they were like, we buffed the anti-airs. Okay, cool, but they still don't work. I'm like, okay, fine, fine. We buffed the anti-airs for the second time, but they still don't work. I'm like, okay, fine. Third time, it's like, okay, guys, just give it up. You either just don't have the time, or I don't know what's going on with you, but like, you're not. This is still not working. We cannot anti-air.
Yeah, and you
And,
know what?
and
That's
then
I don't understand how MKX kept trying to buff the enters and fix them, but they never got them to work consistently. I almost like was it the same people that worked on MK9 that made MKX? Because how do you go from a game MK9 that has such good consistent anti-airs on multiple different anti-airs? Like look at Kung Lao spin in MK9, 6 frames. I don't care who you are, how good you think you are. If a Kung Lao player is sitting there in MK9 and you're gonna jump at him and he knows you're gonna jump, you're getting anti-aired. It is what you're gonna get launched full comboed. Is what it is. Stop jumping. But in MKX, you take the same character, same move. MK9 to MKX. Kung Lao spin is now 1 frame slower for some reason. Instead of 6, now it's 7. They get rid of the radial hitbox around it. They make it a horrendous anti-air. I remember I was shocked when I first saw how the spin worked in MKX. I'm like, that's not an anti-air anymore. What does the move even do? It's just a combo starter. That's it. So you can't even use an anti-air in MKX, and the only way to use it as an anti-air is you have to EX Cyclone and Tempest and hope you do it before they even touch you, and that's the only way to anti-air. That I don't understand why would you remove options and make moves worse and not function properly. So they can't do anti-air specials, right? Anti-air jabs are worse. Anti-air uppercuts are worse. Anti-air roundhouses are worse. Even look at Cyrex, MK9 and MKX. His anti-air in MK9, you can never jump at Cyrex. He reads you, he's going to anti-air throw you every time. In MKX, you want to use his double-digit anti-air move, it doesn't even work as an anti-air. It's just there that gets to do a combo. That's the thing about MKX. All these moves are reduced to, what do they do? Oh, they do a combo, and that's it. So you remove all the depth in the game, all the way these moves function, just so you could do a bigger combo. Like, that to me is not how you should do a fighting game. It's very lazy.
again, I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I'm just saying is that like after 5, 6, 7, 8 attempts, I'm like, okay, can we, as you would describe it, just give us the band-aid? Like I'm sick of it. Like I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like give us the band-aid at least. If you cannot fix it after 6, 7, 8 times, like give us the band-aid. Give me armor. I know it's subjective and it's highly debatable, right? It's highly controversial, but like at least give me this so I can at least anti-air with your band-aid than having no options at all. That's all I'm saying, man.
Yeah, but the problem is even the Band-Aid anti-airs, like armor launchers or anti-airs, they're just also not done right because it's not even... The thing is, yeah, you want the armor launcher to be there so you can anti-air, but the problem is the way everybody else sees armor launchers, they're dealing with it constantly in neutral. They're dealing it constantly when they block something. They're dealing it constantly when they're like, it's just constantly in your face, one bar armor launcher, which is like getting hit by a fatal blow, and then you gotta watch a combo. That just turns people off.
Rio, I'm sure you agree that having armor on low shatter is different than having armor on like an up punch, right? I'm referring to tremor, right? In MKX. Those are not the same thing, right? Yes, I know maybe up punch to some extent.
Right, but the thing is, you can kind of do that already in the last version of MKX. Tremors anti-air with armor in the last version. They just do it differently than how you used to do it.
No, I'm not like suggesting that Tremor is not good enough. I'm just using Tremor as an example because that's my character, right? Like, but
Yeah, you're saying you don't
many,
like how they got rid of his anti-air armor
yeah,
down
yeah,
back
yeah.
to up launcher because you
I
used to
don't
always.
even mind. Yeah, look, I had fun with Low Shatter. People were mad, and they raged, and yeah, it was funny for me. But okay, I understand. Remove it, fine. But like, why are you removing up punch armor? Like, that was my anti-air against stuff like, um, what is that one variation with Shinnok? The imposter, right?
Imposter? Yeah.
And then Kenshi. So I'm not real. I think the lack of communication comes from the fact that I'm not suggesting that be the solution for the next game. I'm just saying for Mortal Kombat X in
Well, I mean, dude,
particular.
like, here's the thing. A lot of us kind of, I guess, lost interest before the last version of MKX, or during we kind of stopped playing it. However, the thing about MKX is honestly the game wasn't even that bad. It's the patches that were handled terribly for MKX. Like, it's not even that the game was bad. It's that the way that they did all those 100 patches for MKX, because that game got the most support and patches. Like, every patch, they weren't doing just like 5 changes. They were doing like a million books for every character. Like, there were characters like Takeda, Jason, that got like 30 changes in one patch repeatedly for like nonstop updates. But the problem is when you have a patch doing things like we buffed anti-airs again, guys, LOL parentheses, LOL, and they're still not working properly, and then they just don't like we don't even know what these updates are doing anymore. And then most updates were just giving characters 50-50s like Jason and stuff, and it's like, well, why not just make him more of a command grab character? Why turn him into a character that just does more mix-ups now like everyone else? They were kind of making everybody play similar.
No, I think that's a fair criticism. My argument is that not for necessarily for the next Mortal Kombat or Injustice game. I'm just suggesting if the developers if they try something 6, 7, 8 times and they're not successful, it's like, okay, I'll take in that extreme circumstance. You know what? I'll take the Bandai mechanic. Like, I will happily take it instead of having no counterplay at all. Like,
Yeah, but you
I
gotta
don't know.
remember another thing that turned people off on the final patch, and again, this isn't to be a shot at MKX's game, it's just how the patches were handled, is the last version of the game, the final patch of MKX, they're nerfing characters like Hunter, Predator, or whatever, and then they're buffing characters like Liu Kang and Katana. Who thought Liu Kang and Katana were bad and needed buffs before the final patch of MKX? Just because they weren't as good as pre-patch Alien and pre-patch Melina and stuff that were dominating does not mean that they were bad, and once you nerf Alien, they're gonna suck or something. No, that like a lot of the patches were just all over the place from MKX. Sadly, that game was not handled well with all the support and patches it got. Like, a lot of the patches were just like, what are they doing?
Well, yeah, and I feel like I kind of started off the podcast with the same talking point about MK11. I don't think either game
Like,
was.
who the hell thought Liu Kang needed a safe 2-hitting armor move in a 7-frame down 1? Like, in what world? Who thought Katana needed more armor and stuff? She was already ridiculous. Like, who are these patches for? People that don't play MKX? Like, I'm trying to understand.
No, you make good points. Which is why I still feel like the only modern NRS game that has been patched properly is probably Mortal Kombat 1.
That's like, imagine MK9 got one final patch that they came out, and it's like, oh, what'd they do? In it, you read the patch note, and it's Cabal got buffed, Sarx got buffed, and then Johnny got nerfed, or some other random character. It's like, what? What is this? What are they doing?
No, yeah. I mean, that's. I don't know. Like, again, I'm not work for any fighting game company, so I don't know what the insider conversations are like. But just to say briefly, that's why I feel like MK1 is one of maybe the only NRS game that made stuff right. Like, they nerfed the scrubby stuff. Again, like the shockers, like the Cyrax stuff, right? Blah blah blah, right? You guys already know it. Like, and they actually buffed stuff that needed buffs. And I still believe a lot of the not a lot, but some of the cameos still need buffs. But like, a lot of the balance changes kind of made sense instead of like, I don't know, flip a coin. Ooh, did it land on the tails? Oh, buff this already strong character while ignoring the low tier character. That's what MK11 as well as Mortal Kombat X did, and to some extent even Mortal Kombat 9. Um,
Yeah, no, I
like
agree.
nerf.
That you know what's funny? The patches for MK9, MKX, and MK11, they were all bad. Like I remember in MK9 patches, they were nerfing characters like Noob Saibot, Ermac, and it's like,
Jade, remember
yeah,
Jade?
Jade. I'm like, what is going on here? They're nerfing characters that aren't even that good because
Yeah.
people are just using them in tournament right now. Like I remember in the beginning, Ermac was very popular. A lot of people were using him, and I guess they want to nerf him so that because they thought. I don't think you should nerf characters always just on tournament results only because sometimes there are characters that you don't understand how good they are because they take more time to develop or maybe the right person hasn't come along to start using them. But yeah, I thought some of the nerfs that they were doing in MK9 were crazy. They were nerfing Kano and all these characters. Meanwhile, characters like Cabal or whatever aren't getting nerfed, and it's like, who are these patches for exactly?
And by the way, I don't think it's just NR. Just again, real quick example was uh, it's a game that I've been watching very recently because I was off for the holidays. Was Street Fighter 4, right? It's like they're trying to balance the game and then they release Alina. I'm like, wait, excuse me, like what? This guy's like a heal. It has the best footsies. It also has like an unreactable overhead. It's like okay, I thought you just nerfed all of that for at least for some of it, for some of the characters. I thought the game was not gonna be this defensive, and now she gets to heal. It's just very, very strange, right? Like, why would you? Why is this in the game? It's just,
Well, you gotta make those sales somehow, I guess, for
well,
Elena.
I don't even know if it's about the sales because I think it's just a lack of understanding about what the game should be, and
I don't know, man. Sometimes it's
yeah,
about the sales. So I feel like when you're nerfing 50-50s and then you release Alien like that, where he's 50-50 God, it's kind of like, well, is it about the money just to make people buy real quick and then they'll nerf it? Because there's no way. I don't know. I'm trying to understand. It has to be about the sales and money. Because think about it. Remember in MKX, those patches that were nerfing a lot of 50-50s and stuff, but then they're like, oh, here's this new DLC character, Alien. What does he do? 50-50 into 50-50. And it's like, what? But you're just trying to tone this down. So it has to be for money, right? Because what is the logic behind that? It makes no sense.
I think sometimes yes, sometimes no. A quick example with MK9 that you'll remember. Remember people crying, "Oh my God, Kano, the up ball, the knives," and then they nerfed it. Like they literally nerfed everything.
Yeah, but then they
Gone.
released Freddy, and it's like, why did you nerf
Exactly.
the
Like, wait,
zoner?
what?
Freddy's even dumber than Kano was before you nerfed him. That's what I'm saying. It has to be on purpose to make sales because it wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Well, they nerfed Freddy even after that, right? But like obviously Freddy was so strong
Right, but
that
that was when they destroyed Kano and nerfed thing because people were crying about zoning and upball. They released Freddy, so it's like, what was the point of nerfing Kano then? If you're gonna make MK9 Freddy,
look, man. With all due respect to all the developers, I feel like sometimes they release something and they have no idea what's going on. Like, and it's not necessarily their fault, right? Because they have time limits. They have schedules that they need to adhere to, and it's like I don't know. Just release this character. It is what it is. And sometimes they're weak, right? Because remember you um, criticizing like Lobo's gameplay set of Injustice One, right?
yeah. Oh, I
You
remember when I
thought,
first played it. I'm like, what does this character even do? It sucks. Why?
yeah,
Dude, you know what? Maybe I caused this whole DLC drama because I remember I was like, on that one stream VSM, I was like, I've just paid $10 to buy Lobo and the character is shit. Why'd I buy him? And I guess they must have heard. They're like,
yeah.
oh, you think buying shit is trash? Okay, don't worry, we got you. We got Alien, all these characters coming out, Batgirl, Martian, and don't worry. So I don't want to be blamed for that, but I remember I was going ham on Lobo on that one stream where I was like, I just bought this character. People were like, oh, what do you
And
think about him? I was like, he's shit. And then they ended
and
up
I
buffing the hell out of Lobo and made him better. But yeah, I remember.
yeah, I got,
I don't know.
yeah.
Sometimes the NRS will release a character and you'll be like, "What even is this? What did I just buy?" But then other times you'll buy a character and be like, "Oh my god, is this even allowed in tournament? I just bought this, but it feels too powerful."
Yeah. And
I guess
God
it's hit
rest
or
his
miss.
soul. Yeah, God rest his soul. I know you and Slips were going at it about the Lobo argument, right? Because he thought maybe Lobo was slightly better, but you thought he was weak, and retrospectively, I think you were right. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
something.
I mean to be fair to Slipstone, I was playing Lobo against freaking pre-patch Black
Yeah, I
Adam,
know.
pre-patch Superman, pre-patch Aquaman. I'm like, bro, this character is like
Yeah,
horrendous.
yeah, it's difficult to gauge sometimes. Well, not sometimes, honestly, probably most of the time. Uh, if you are forced to arguably release the game in a limited amount of time, and you have to make money with the LD, with the DLCs and all the stuff. So I think the best of the best, if you have literally, I don't know, Daigo, Tokido, Mago, and Sonic Fox and Justin Wong in one room, they probably wouldn't be able to tell you how strong a character is in like 2 weeks, right? Like, it's a very it's a complicated subject,
I
especially
agree,
if you
but
release.
most of the time we kind of see how bad characters are or good they are on a lot of them. Like when Alien came out, we all knew. When Sonic came out, we all knew 5 minutes. When Tremor came out, Predator, like in the first 2 minutes, and we were like, this
But I
character is
think
stupid.
MKX is like an exception, right? Like I think that game, because of its homogeneity, it's obvious. Like, look, man, do you have a 50-50 that's stupid?
Yeah, how good
And
is your pressure 50-50? Is it's very good? Then okay, your character's probably good. But I don't know, kind of
yeah,
depends though, because Boraicho has amazing 50-50 mix up, but he's considered low tier. I remember for a long time people saying Boraicho was the worst. I mean, I'm not saying he's top tier, but he has some of the best mix ups in that game. But he's not like top 5. But I don't think he's the worst though. I think Aaron's actually worse than Boraicho.
well, I don't think it's a simple conversation. I mentioned
No, all I'm
the
saying is sometimes a character could have really good pressure or 50-50s, but they're also
yeah,
not considered top tier. Like Boraicho is a perfect example. He
and
has
sometimes they
insane
yeah,
layers to his 50-50s and mix ups.
no, absolutely. And I was telling you about Poison earlier. Like, people were, they were complaints about her, but like, aside from Fudo and um Item, like, most players never really place well with her, right? Because she has bad defense. The typical uh,
Yeah, like no
zoning.
DP, slow pokes when you get in
Yeah,
on
correct.
her.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. But like, then there were matchups. She was just like, dude, I just can't get in. Like, she just does this whip. She cancels it. It's very, very annoying. And um, yeah, like, it's not necessarily like easy to determine how strong she would end up being in the meta, right? And then they released Luke, and now like that caused a whole bunch of issues. But that's what I mean. It's not a cut and dry topic. I think that's why I mean it's complicated even in simple metas and simple character designs.
Yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying. Foxy Grandma asks, what did they nerf about Hunter Predator? So in the final patch, they, for some reason, slightly nerfed his damage even more with traps and scaling. I don't know why. I don't know who's crying about Hunter Predator for the last patch. Because before that, they already nerfed the hell out of him, like a patch or two before that, where they toned down his 70% 2-bar Cyrix combo. But anyway, aside from that slight nerf they did for no reason whatsoever in the last version, they indirectly nerfed the hell out of him by adding all these characters with 2 hits of armor. So matchups where Hunter Predator kind of lost, like against Katana, Liu Kang, whatever. At the very least, when you hit them, you knock them down. They couldn't do anything but guess because they had 1 hit of armor. He could break armor. Them adding multiple hitting armor and all these characters like Liu Kang, safe double hitting, it ruined Hunter Predator because now his best thing about the character was he could knock you down, put a trap out, and then you have to guess the mix up. Otherwise, you get armor broken. That all went out the window. So now everybody just got up for free and no one cared anymore. So that just killed the character.
Yeah, absolutely. The two
Yeah,
hitting.
matchups that were worse before that, like Liu Kang and Katana, became even more worse now. Because now when you actually get the hit and you knock them down, they didn't even give a shit. Because they're like, oh, we don't care. We have all this multi-hitting armor now. So it was
Does anybody
awful.
else? Did anybody else have two?
Yeah, a lot
Tanya?
of characters got 2-hitting armor. Yeah, they gave Tanya 2-hitting armor on her dust move, whatever it's
Oh,
called, Pixie Dust.
yeah.
I believe
Was
Jason
it
had some
the Rekka?
2-hitting armor moves. I think
Was
the
it
Rekka had 3 hits of armor. There were some characters that had 3 hits of armor. Rekka might have been one of them. I know Jason's EX Teleport had 3 hits of armor. But actually, a lot of characters got 2. I made a video on it. That was my last video I made from KEX before I lost interest. Is when I made my armor. Let me see if I can show you guys.
Guys, armor, the solution and the problem to all of it.
My last
Not
MKX
all.
video on my channel was on the last patch. I made a armor video for all the armor changes, and there was more. It wasn't just Katana Liu Kang. It was a lot.
I was gonna say
Yeah, here we
armor.
go. So check out this video. Wow, this is loud. Hold on. I gotta mute this. So this was the last patch that came out. This is kind of my last, I guess, video I made for MKX before I moved on. You guys should be able to see it, but here you go. You have to turn on my stream, Dave, to see the video.
Okay.
But it shows you all the moves with 2 hits of armor last patch. All this basically screwed over Hunter Predator. Because before this, I don't know a lot of people remember, but MKX
Yeah.
never was a game with multi-hitting armor. You only had 1 hit armor. Like for almost everybody did, basically.
Just very weird, right? Because they're supposed to nerf the armor, and which they
No,
did.
they buffed the shit. Well, here's the thing: they got rid of armor launchers at the last patch, but then they buffed the hell out of a lot of armor, making them 2-hit, 3-hit, whatever.
But not the ones that launch, right? It's the one that like knock down and stuff, which is again, which screwed certain characters. So yeah, it was just very, very strange. I don't know what they were thinking.
Oh, I didn't even know Sonya's leg grab had multi-hitting armor. That's kind of random.
Didn't know either.
Yeah, but dude, it was a lot. It wasn't just only Liu Kang Katana got buffed. They made us so they basically they nerfed armor launchers, but then made armor like crazy. Like I remember people were crying about that possess move with Kenshi. That one, they were like, "Why does it have multi hits of armor and it hits everywhere?" Like a lot of people are annoyed.
It knocked down, but it had 2 hits of armor, right? Did it
Yeah,
not?
but there were. It's like weird. It's like they knew that people didn't like armor, so they nerfed armor launchers. But then they doubled down and gave everybody nonstop armor, where they could just use it to fly through everything now, where everything's multi hitting. And you could say, well, they did that to balance Liu Kang, because Liu Kang, you can do anything against Liu Kang. Well, I mean, that's more of a Liu Kang being broken problem rather than, you know, do this to everyone so they can fight Liu Kang. Because then other characters that rely on the knockdown stuff get ruined because of it, right? Like, it's the weird way to, like... Damn, I didn't realize how much armor was like this on the last version of MKX. Holy shit, it's like Armor City. I thought... I don't remember it being, like, this many characters. How much armor did they put into the game last version? Even Jackie has 2-hitting armor? I don't even remember that. It's been so long. Yeah, I remember that. I remember this Tanya move because that move was annoying.
I'm biased. I just don't. I just remember my up punch not anti-airing people. So, and to be
Did they
frank
even
with
give
the
Tremor a
audience-
2-hitting armor move or not? I don't even remember. I guess Tremor did it.
No, he didn't. I just remember not being able to anti-air people, and that kind of pissed me off, and that's why I never
Yeah,
played
well,
the
welcome
last.
to some of our worlds, bro. Some of us have couldn't anti since forever. Like,
No,
because we didn't have an armor launcher. It was just like, bro. That's why some of us, like me specifically, were crying. I was complaining, dude. I was complaining so much about the anti-airs in the beginning of MKX. I'm like, these anti-airs suck. The down 2 suck. The standing 4 suck. The jab suck. Like these moves are. What are our anti-airs?
No, absolutely, I completely understand. Which again,
Oh my god, I forgot they
What?
gave Shinnok multi-hitting armor. Why would they do that?
hey, what was it?
The shoulder, half screen shoulder, and then he can launch it for another bar,
yeah.
bro. That move was.
Oh, yeah.
Who wanted that to have 2 hits of armor?
Shinnok players.
Yeah, but like that move was already kind of good because it was like a half screen shoulder with one hit of armor. I don't even remember that move having armor for Johnny. It's so random. Yeah, it's a lot. It seems like half the cast basically got double hitting armor. This was the worst one when they gave Liu Kang 2 hits of armor and all these moves.
Yeah,
Like the -2 windmill punch. Like, why does that have 2 hits of armor? It's a safe armor move.
because Liu Kang players were struggling, bro.
Oh, I forgot
Look at
Cole
him.
had armor. Oh, his commander had 2 hits of armor? I didn't know that. Why does Reptile EX Slide even have 2 hits of armor? Who's gonna stuff that? It's like 6 frames. Who is, like, seriously, who's stuffing that? I guess you could with Liu Kang if you do it perfectly, but...
Back one, what was it? Back one?
Oh yeah, that Raiden move was dumb. I remember people complaining about that. The Storm Cell, safe armor, 2 hits of armor. That was annoying.
But honestly, dude, a lot of these characters were not like top tier. Like it was still
Yeah,
like
I know.
what?
It's just, but it kind of made. I remember people complaining about Possess Kenshi, Raiden, Luke. You know, a lot of characters or whatever. Like, why is this character not doing this nonstop armor?
Yeah. Maybe let's end on that note. Who were the? I know you didn't play as much, and
I mean, I'm
almost
not saying
didn't
any
at
of this is broken or stuff. I'm just saying,
all.
like, I don't think the way to make MKX a better game is to fill everybody with more armor. I think armor is one of the, I guess, in my opinion, less enjoyable things about NRS games is just filling it all with armor. Oh, Tremor did have 2 hits of armor on his metallic version.
Oh, yeah.
The
but
one that nobody used.
Yeah, nobody used that. Like I don't
Oh,
remember.
Quan Chi
that.
had 3 hits of armor too. What is? Oh yeah, that terrible ass move that didn't even work properly.
Wait, what was it? Stop. What was
The
it?
EX stab move that I forgot.
Oh yeah, no, nobody used that.
Attacks with full invincibility. I don't remember doing this. Oh yeah, it's Sonya. You couldn't stuff that. I mean, that Rick move is literally useless. Oh, this move is super strong. Ethereal EX. That shit was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Oh,
That
with
was like
Melina?
almost a pseudo one bar launcher. Wouldn't. Oh yeah, that Baracho move was super good too. But yeah, I mean that's the whole video. That was the last tech video I made from Kex when I lost interest in it because I did not like what they did with the last patch. I mean, sure, it was more balanced than. Don't get me wrong, it was more balanced than the version with obviously Brain Dead Alien, Brain Dead Tanya, Brain Dead Cutthroat Kano, all that stuff. I'm not saying that it wasn't good that they toned that down, but it's just how they filled the game with all this other armor and then started buffing characters like Katana, Liu Kang, and whatever that were already good. It felt like it was a half-assed patch. Like they just wanted to put something out because they wanted to in a rush, and they didn't really care to think about it.
Yeah, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I'm just saying, man, like if you're gonna make me play a game that's all 50-50s pressure and offense, and
And
you're
honestly,
not
let me
gonna.
say this: I don't even think the last version of MKX is bad. Like, I would probably play it for fun if we get a combat league. It's just I don't like MKX that much to want to go in rooms and seek out people to play back and forth. I'd rather play combat league and MK11 and get into MK1 combat league because I think that's more enjoyable to me. But if they did out of nowhere, like let's say next year or this year, and Rest is like, "Yo, we're have a surprise. We're coming out with a remaster of some of these older games with Combat League, like MK9, MKX, whatever." Yeah, I'd probably play MKX and MK9 and stuff with Combat League. Why not? It'd be fun.
Speaking of fun, let me tell you, after the low shatter nerf, which armor I had the most fun with? Rio, can you guess?
Well, obviously, either I'm gonna say one of the Brain Dead armor moves. Let me guess, either Liu Kang or Kenshi or Ermac or who
No,
else?
Ermac. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that move did that move hit two hits armor? I don't even remember. I don't think it did.
No, it did not. Dude, but it was so
Yeah, it
fast.
was so
Remember,
fast
like,
it didn't. It was like Reptile Sting, where it was so fast it didn't really matter.
guys, the armor, you guys would laugh. It's just like I think it was 8 frames. It was something insane. And then like the one way, usually the anti-armor, quote unquote, anti-armor meta was like to jump, right? Like, but then
Wait a
Ermac would
minute. Wait,
like,
wasn't that move safe too, or hard to punish? On top of
no,
that,
it was safe. Yeah, it was
wait,
safe.
was safe point
So
blank, or was it like -10 or 15?
I don't know, man. I think it was safe.
I just remember being fast as hell, and the hitbox will hit you behind it when you try to jump it.
Yeah,
I'll be like,
exactly.
"What is this hitbox?" I
It'd be like,
jump over it, but it catches me behind your head, like your neck. And the
so
most
guys, like,
annoying thing is it would regenerate your HP and it would drain my
I know,
meter. On top, like the move did like 4 things.
I know, like the funny part is like people were like, okay, I know he's gonna do it. I'm gonna jump back. There's a cross up, and then like literally like he's behind.
Yeah, and the worst thing is when you played against some Ermac players, like I remember playing against Beyond Toxin, who was a really good Ermac player. In the corner, if he hit you out of the air high enough, he would combo after a down one lift. And I'm like, bro, this move is so annoying.
I know, yeah, it was an insane.
And you would be
move.
like, but just sit there and block it, bro. Well, here's the thing. You go to sit there and bait it or block it, run up 50-50, overhead low, unreactable, so...
That was the character that I actually in that version of MKX.
Yeah, I remember those characters you were maining for a while.
yeah. That was the one that I used probably the most. I still think Tremor was probably a little bit better, but yeah, that move made people rage. But yeah, that's a move that's just badly designed. Like if you jump, of course you should be able to jump over. Why does it randomly catch cross ups and
I
like?
mean, it's fine to have a super fast armor move that drains your meter, regenerates your health, does all that, but can it at least be on safe on block if you block it?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys, MKX like we'll save the patch history for another podcast. But like, I don't, if you guys didn't play the game during its heyday, but like, character will essentially will be bad. Like, and then there's a patch, and I was like, wait, what are these like 2 pages of buffs? Like, Taquito was really bad, and then like they're like literally like there was a patch like literally like 30 bullet points. And we were like,
Yeah, we
what
call it
the
the Book of Buffs. Takeda got
I
blessed
know,
with the
like,
Book of Buffs. Jason got blessed with the Book of Buffs. Melina got
I
blessed with the
know.
Book of Buffs. A lot of characters did.
And then we're like, what is going on with this game?
Oh yeah, dude,
It
just too swift. I remember that. Remember when Kung Lao had that glitch in MKX? If you did wake up teleport, he would gain a bar, and I was like, what is this? That was quickly patched out. I think it only lasted for like a month or whatever. But yeah, that was. I don't even know how bug like that exists to give you a bar instead of remove a bar.
But yeah, MKX was like was a treat.
Remember that bug
Not
Tanya had when she hit you with her pixie dust and threw you? It was bugs where it did like quadruple damage and
yeah
you got thrown into 40%. It was like getting hit by a crushing blow every time she threw you before MK11 even came out.
yeah. It was hilarious. I think Sonifex was probably abusing that, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
he was definitely using that when it was out for a bit. But even he knew it was stupid.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah,
folks,
the
I
Bane
think
treatment. That's where it originally started in Justice 1.
yeah, but I believe MKX tops everything. It wasn't even close
Yeah,
what they were
MKX
doing.
definitely. I don't want to say it got the most support in patches with like like it got 20 patches, but the substance in the patches, the content in the patches were definitely the most. Like because they don't really do patches like that anymore, where it's like 200 changes in one patch back to back to back. They
Well, they
went
did with
crazy in
one game.
MKX.
They did with one game, and the game almost got boycotted. But
Oh yeah, well MK11 was probably the second most drastic patch game after MKX with like massive changes.
the closest thing
But
recently
in
was probably like
MK11, instead of the Book of Buffs, like I was in MKX, was the Book of Nerfs. That's why I just got in MK11.
the closest thing in the modern time is probably Tekken 8, maybe like Lars, who got like I don't know, like 15 crazy buffs, and then like all of a sudden he was like a mix-up machine. He was just like, "What am I fighting right now?" It's like 3D anime, and obviously, I mean, I admit to an extent I like that, but like, yeah, it was kind of crazy, just like mix-ups. It was just like insane. Uh, but
Yeah, I didn't
um,
follow much. You said Tekken 8 or Tekken 7?
no, Tekken 8 with Lars.
Yeah, I didn't follow much Tekken 8, so I didn't know that they were
Remember
doing that.
The season 2 patch was released, like people were like
By the way,
furious.
real quick before we wrap up, what's been going on with Tekken 8? Like I've been hearing so much drama, and apparently one of the lead developers stepped down or something. Do you know about this?
No, I rather retired apparently.
Oh, he retired, but was it
Not
because Tekken
apparently.
8 or because he just got tired of working in
No, I
the?
believe. I believe, from what I hear, it's a legit retirement. Like, because he had been working on this series for like 31 years, so he retired at the end of the year. I mean, who knows, right?
No, but I'm
I don't
saying,
want.
did he retire because he was going to retire no matter what during this year because he's very old, or did he retire because he did not like Tekken 8 and direction it went, or how the community felt about it? Like, do you know any of the history behind it, or the
No,
backstory? I
I
should
don't know.
say.
I don't know the backstory. I generally do not. And there's no indication to prove otherwise. I believe with Ono-san for Street Fighter Five, right? Like it kind of sounded like he was driven away, but I don't want to get into the speculation because there's no really evidence to prove.
Did he like it Tekken 8, or like, did you know? Because I never, I don't look at his Twitter like that to because I didn't follow Tekken 8. But did he seem like he enjoyed the way that the game was seen or portrayed as, or?
Well, Tekken 8, as you already know, is a pretty controversial game.
Yeah,
Like
but I'm
at
saying,
least
like,
in
what
the.
did he think of the game and stuff when he would tweet about it? Like, would he say, tell people the game is amazing, or, like, would he be like, yeah, this is dumb or should change?
I mean, really, he's a developer. Why would he trash talk his
Well, I'm
own
not saying he's there
product?
going like his game is shit, but I'm saying, like, what is he saying when he's tweeting and replying? Is he going like, yeah, we'll look into this, or yeah, or is he going like, nah, get good, like the game's amazing? Like, what was he? How did he feel exactly with Tekken 8?
Well, I feel like if you listen to his early comments, he wanted the game to be more about aggression, which was the whole thing about Tekken 8, right? Like,
Wait. When Tekken 8 came out, he wanted a game even more about aggression.
yeah, no, like the initial design was about aggression, right? Like
Oh,
they
okay.
complete.
So when they did that, did he think that they maybe went overboard or didn't do it as properly as they could and was a little lazy?
Yeah, again, I don't know. Like,
Because I mean,
it
it's
seemed
easy to
like
make a game super offensive based. You give everybody plus frames, give everybody 50/50, give everybody armor. Okay, you made a offensive game, but is it a good game at the end of the day? Like, is it something
I
people
don't
want
know.
to play and travel and compete in
I
for
like,
money?
I like Tekken 8. I liked it. I liked it even more pre-patch, especially after Tekken 7, which was very defensive in my humble opinion. Which, by the way, I love Tekken 7. I think it was fine. I just have a fundamental disagreement with the FGC, with the modern FGC in general. I think it's a cesspool of complaints. No matter what they do, they were wrong, right? If you, by the way, these are the same people who complain about MK. I'm sorry, who complain about Tekken 7 anyway because of its defense. So it's like if you make the game defensive, they complain. If you make the game offensive, they complain. It's just like okay, like what do you do? We live in an age nowadays, for better or worse, depending on your perception. Everybody, it's kind of like everybody has, just like everybody has an asshole, like everybody has an opinion, right? Like, except those opinions are shared 24/7, 365 days a year. So I don't mind feedback, but I feel like there's an like excessive amount of feedback. Um,
But
I
do you
don't know,
think the community were valid in saying Tekken 8 is not good with the offense in Rushdown?
I mean, they tried to boycott the game.
Yeah, but
At
I'm saying, do you
least
think they were in the right, or they had no idea what they're talking about? The game was actually good.
I like the game a lot pre-patch. I think the people were wrong.
But did they end
Um,
up changing the game, or is it the same?
no, they have changed the game. They have nerfed a lot of stuff, and you
So now
already
do
know how I
people
feel
like
about
it more, or do they still not like Tekken 8?
I mean, there's complaining. I think stuff needs to be nerfed more. So, as usual, of course. And I think they're walking into the MK11 inevitability. They're gonna make the game a lot worse if they continue nerfing stuff. Nerfing stuff almost always results in a worse fighting game. Um, and I will, as I'm getting
I mean,
older,
in my
I'm
opinion, it depends how you nerf it. Like, if you're nerfing Shiva and MK11, but then you give her all this other stuff to compensate for
yeah,
the nerfs and make her well designed, then that could work. But if you're just nerfing her to nerf her and give her nothing in return, and then people stop playing the character, then yeah, that was a bad. You did it. I think you did a bad job going the way about
yeah.
it, because you basically just
I
deleted the character and no one plays the character anymore.
well, yeah. I think that's kind of what I
But
think.
that's not on the community though. That's on developers when they nerf characters, or they should do it in a more thoughtful manner. Like if you're gonna, okay, let's say Joker's top tier, right? You want to nerf him now. People don't like him. They want him nerfed. You can do that, but you should also do it in a way where he's still gonna be playable or good, or maybe nerf some of this brain dead stuff, but give him some other stuff so he's a little better in other areas that require like some skill.
Look, man, I think you're right, but there comes a point you have to blame the community. And I think as much to go back to a game, to go back to the podcast and the original point, like I'm all about holding NRS accountable, and nobody would deny that I never did. Like, come on. But ironically, the points that you discuss, you have to hold the community accountable. Like, you guys were just wrong. Like, you were wrong. Like, nerfing everything was a mistake. It was not the right decision. It was a major mistake. Nerfing. Why are we nerfing Nightwolf and MK11? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I get why they did that because it was brain dead. However, do I agree with them nerfing it and then giving him nothing in return? That's really bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's like the community in general, like the Reddits, the Twitters, like
No, I'm saying like I don't mind them nerfing characters, make them less brain dead if they give them things. Like you can nerf a character and then keep them at the same tier level by nerfing things that they do that is like super scrubby brain dead, but then giving them things that'll keep them at the same tier, but now they have to work and do to perform better with skill. Because if you make it so a character is good because they just do down 3 1 throw and that's it, it's that strong enough to beat people, then okay, that should probably get looked at, but you shouldn't remove that and then give the character nothing in return, because then you have a character like Nightwolf who's like considered lower tier now, and he's not that great. Like, can you win with him in MK11? You probably can. You just have to work a little bit harder.
I think you have to work a lot harder when you play characters like Fujin and
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot more of your crappy down 3 and 1 and command grab.
Yeah. So that's my point. Not just a point about, I guess, the Mortal Kombat 11 players at that time, but like the whole point about the FGC.
But at Tekken 8, if you're looking at it, what they're nerfing, like, didn't you say there was a character that had this flying knee lunge punch that was like +8 and you could just do it?
Yeah, yeah.
Who was that character? It was like the beginning of the game.
It was I'm drawing up. Like, it was the Peruvian girl, I know it's the while running 2-3 at one point, but dude, she's still think to this day
Her name is
she's
Azucena or something. How do you say it?
yeah, yeah, Susanna, yeah.
Yeah. So for her, was that good game design or bad? And I'm not saying when
Oh,
you
that was,
nerf that, give her nothing, but they should maybe, if she's gonna be one of the better characters because that move, instead of her being one of the better characters because it's so brain dead, why not tone that down and then give her something else that requires some skill, so that way she's still at the same tier of being good, but she takes more effort than just spamming whatever the hell that move was. That was kind of brain dead.
yeah, the while running 2-3. No, I'm pretty sure to this day she's like okay, whatever. She might be like
Yeah. Well,
mid.
didn't they like buff her again after what they did to her in the first patch?
I mean, they did, but they also like I don't know, man. Like I think Tekken 8. I hate to say it, but I think the community ruined the game. Like MK11, man. I'm sorry. Like I have to keep it real. Like that's my opinion.
But if
The
the
game was
developers released
okay
a game that was so bad to begin with, how did the community even ruin it?
because just like MK11, like it was an okay-ish game. I'm not saying
I
Tekken
mean,
8 is the
but
best,
MK11 also had some super brain stuff in the beginning.
but Rio, it's about balance. Like it's not about like they nerf too much without compensating.
Yeah, but if people are
Characters.
complaining about brain dead stuff like an MK11 in the beginning, Scorpion doing a out of nowhere tracking mid-screen launching teleport where you cannot move or press a poke you get launched, or Citron teleporting nonstop, you can never ever catch her like half the cast, and whatever other brain dead stuff, is that really good for the game because it's strong?
Well, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying some nerfs needed to happen. Like I'm released Dragonov on Tekken 8 was like just like insanity. Like it was essentially like fighting an MKX character. I'm like, yeah, I don't mind the stuff getting nerfed, but like some stuff didn't need to get nerfed. Just like Night
No, I
Wolf
agree.
or
Yeah, not all nerfs are good.
yeah.
Sometimes they're hit or
So
miss.
I'm not like as oh you nerf something, you're an immortal human being. Apologize. No, I'm not about that. Like that's just silly, right? Of course, if a teleport puts you full screen, it's like it has no recovery frames. Like okay, you can have that, but like it needs to require literally all your resources, right? Like we need to keep it real. I'm just saying the tech. If you try to boycott your own game and you're so you're so mad at the game that anybody who defended a patch, you say like you better watch your back at a tournament. Like
Wait,
how's
what?
that? How's that like? How's that like?
Wait,
How's
what do you
that?
mean you better watch your back at a tournament? The developers
Oh,
or the players?
everybody. Like how's that promoting a
Wait, I
healthy
don't
and
understand though.
positive?
What do you mean watch your back? Like someone's threatening somebody?
Well, yeah, no. Well, remember somebody got threatened. Several people got threatened in the app because they I don't know they it was VDX who's one of the most prominent Tekken not developers, I'm sorry, like Tekken content creators. I guess people felt like he wasn't as hard on the season 2 patch, especially on release, as he
So he
could have
thought the
been.
game was good,
Yeah, whatever. Not necessarily good. Like
or liked it,
the
or didn't think it was that
oh,
bad.
yeah, like oh, if he was at a tournament, he better watch his back. Like what are you
That
doing?
sounds like a threat though. Like someone's gonna deck him in the face because he thinks the game
Yeah,
isn't that bad.
well,
That's a
yeah,
little extreme.
that's
But why is
incredibly
it that
extreme.
serious over
It's
Tekken
not
8?
that, well, that's what I mean. Like, forget about the gameplay and everything that I have just talked about. Like, why would you want to be a part of the community that's just like that? That's so toxic, tries to boycott its game.
Yeah,
Why?
I didn't know
Because
it was that bad. I thought it was just people like saying they didn't like changes or how the game plays
why?
online.
Think Lars is broken? Like, just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Like, and of course, like, honestly, guys, I haven't played Tekken 8 in a long time. I just played MK1. Like, who would want to be a part of a community that is that toxic, irrespective how you feel about the game, like the direction of the game or lack thereof, how whatever your perception is. Like, I just don't want to be part of that. Like,
I had no clue it got that bad. Where if you're saying you like a version of the game or you don't like it, people are like,
well,
you better
again, I
watch your
don't like
back.
exaggerate. It was a small, portion of players judging the initial release of Mortal. I'm sorry, of why do I keep saying Mortal Kombat? Judging the initial release of Tekken 8 Season 2, patch, and I just I've had people like message me like, dude, like, is this it? Like, yeah, they're boycotting the game. They're threaten to beat up people in tournaments just because they disagree with with the direction of the game. Like, and like, who would? Why would you even want to work for a company like that? That's your community. Like, it's bad. It hasn't been good. And honestly, I haven't watched a Tekken 8 content creator in like maybe like 8 months. I just don't care. Like,
Damn, you really, I guess, don't like the game anymore.
oh no, it's not even about the game. I don't like the community. I kind of like exiled. I kind of isolated. Like, uh, I'm probably gonna go
Is it
back
really
and
that
watch.
toxic though?
I mean, I kind of think it is, man. Like, and in general,
What are the
it's
numbers
all.
like for Tekken 8? Because I haven't been following Tekken 8
Oh, they're
either.
very, very good. I think they're very good for at least tournament standards. Like usually, it's usually right after Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, I
If
guess
there's
maybe it was
like,
that one instance or experience you saw that kind of turned you off.
I don't know, man. I just disagree with in general with the modern FGC. It's all about nerves. It's all about crying. It's all about uh complaining, which has a place. But there comes a point. It's like, dude, I don't like MK11. You guys know I don't like the game. Like, you guys know. But there comes a point. It's like, look, the game is what it is. Like, it's not going to change.
Yeah, but the thing is with Tekken, it's a little bit different though, because the MK usually changes every game. Tekken, if you like Tekken, how Tekken's been playing for like a decade now, it's gonna hit hard when you see that they changed all the shit you've been doing and learning with the new Tekken 8. Like that's gonna be
But
like, what did they
nothing is
do?
changed. Nothing has changed. Like, Knee is still winning. Whether the game is, I don't know, defensive or offensive or 50, like,
Yeah, but I'm
it's
just saying, like some people, like for example, in Tekken, usually you don't die to chip damage, right? It's never been a thing until Tekken 8. So that things like that, or adding moves that you get hit and then it enters a cutscene. Now you have to guess a mix-up like that. Stuff can be very polarizing to someone who enjoyed Tekken because it didn't have stuff like that, but now Tekken it has stuff like that. Because again, some of these people have probably been playing Tekken for a very long time, multiple games, and so when they see changes that they really don't like, and now it's part of their how Tekken plays, it could be a huge turnoff. So they may take it now. Should they take it serious to the point where they're telling people to watch their back and do the no? That's way too extreme.
the issue is that whereas in MK, we don't have much legacy as we should. Tekken with the Tekken community, if you change just one thing, they just honestly just go ape shit. Like, they just lose their minds. Like, you made Kazuya's health sweep track. You son of a bitch! How dare you? Like, they just go crazy. They just can't.
Yeah,
They
well,
just
I mean,
literally
to be
cannot.
fair, that's a dumbass change. Why would you make Hellsweep track?
No, that's well. Whether it's dumb or not, it's okay to disagree. But like, you don't have to like threaten people, call for their
No, I
jobs.
agree.
Like,
Yeah, that's way too
that's
dramatic.
like
Should
you
just
know like
say you should just say why it's a bad change, terrible, and why it should be removed,
so.
and then make
The
videos
point
about
is,
why it's
like,
bad.
they want extreme legacy. Like, they want the characters to play exactly the same for like 30, 40, 50. But literally as they're
But see, the
dying on their
thing
death.
is, sometimes a design is very good and it's timeless. Like, let's say you have, I don't know how Ryu plays from Street Fighter, like his design or Gaio. Some people like that and they don't feel it should change or be reworked. Like, they just want it to be like that when they play the character. So I can see that in Tekken. How if you change a character, having go where now to be if this 50-50 character or offensive character and they don't like that, they're going to be vocal about it.
Tekken has always been a defensive game, not necessarily at a low level, but at a high level. So Namco was thinking, let's make it very offensive, and I think they overstepped. Right, that's my personal opinion, but I think it was the right move because the most broken moves in Tekken have always been defensive. Going as far back as Tekken 5.0 Steve doing a sidestep move and it's a glitch. Essentially doing a like sidestep that's like 3 times a regular sidestep and killing you because you did like, I don't know, like 2 jabs in a row or something, right? That's Tekken. Or Tekken 4 Jin has a parry that has no recovery frames. You can just parry everything, like just non-stop. You can't handle that. That's Tekken. So I understand Namco's decision. Like, you know what? Let's just maybe go a little bit overboard just to be safe. Did they make the
Yeah,
right
but one
decision?
thing that's always been fun about Tekken is the fluid and fast movement. So why even tone that down? I feel like that just makes the game feel less fun.
Because the movement was also broken. If you go back to like Tekken Tag 1, if you watch the highest level of play,
Right, but instead of nerfing the backward movement, why not, okay, maybe buff the forward movement or something, so that way you don't have to make other people feel like they're playing in mud. It just feels less enjoyable.
the problem is that back when homing moves didn't exist, which is like tracking moves, essentially everything was size tippable. And to some extent, people like that because you didn't have to learn matchups. Like if I can get around with my movement and ignore your move list. By the way, guys, I'm saying this as somebody like who plays at least locally and regionally with that type of gameplay style, right? Like, so I'm not like cheering for one or the other uh, gameplay aspect. I'm just telling you like what the reality was, and I just cannot condone or accept the modern Tekken community. I think it's a disaster of people, and most of the people who have a voice shouldn't have a voice, uh, including people like Mei Mansui, who are incredibly toxic and negative. Um, but that
Wait, some
again,
people shouldn't have a voice on the game?
they shouldn't because they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, but then at that point, only certain people could talk about a game.
I mean, I've just told you what the repercussions were about the negativity, and if you had, I mean, Tom and I were pretty negative about MK11. We never threatened to boycott the damn game or threatened to fucking punch Rio in the face because he liked the fucking game. Like, come on, man.
I don't know. I remember there were people definitely trying to cancel other people during MK11
Oh,
for saying the game was good.
yes,
Or
but
remember
like,
the whole Jackie ban movement where they were like requesting people sign it, and if you don't, you want the game to be bad and you should be shunned. Like, I don't know, all that stupid drama.
yeah, there was toxicity
That
for
Jackie
sure. But
ban
like,
movement was very, I don't even know how to put it. Best way to put it is like cringe. You guys are trying
yeah,
to get a top tier banned. Like, are you dumb? So Jackie's banned, but all these other top tiers are allowed. Like, how does it make any sense? You might as well just ban all of them.
no, I understand. No, absolutely. I'm not denying that there was toxicity in any game. I think there was even more toxicity in MKX. You remember you were there, but I don't recall any violence being, on the table or people boycotting the game or like threat, like, literally like if this if this developer doesn't get fired, whatever this and that. Like I don't know, man.
I don't know. I
I
remember
feel like
people calling for Paulo's job during Justice 1 and MKX. I do
yeah,
remember
yeah,
those posts. There was drama like that.
yeah. There was
That was
some.
definitely overboard though. But yeah, people definitely feel like that.
Yeah, there was some for sure, but I don't know. I feel like the tech community has gone way too far, and it's to the extent that they have hurt their own game. Like they have literally hurt their own community. They have hurt their own
Yeah, I
player
mean, in my
base.
opinion, if you think a game is bad or a character is broken or whatever needs to change, you should just make videos about it and explain why it is instead of attacking the people, the community, or the developers. Just explain, like, for example, if Hell Sweep tracks, make a video saying why it's bad design, why this, and why it should be changed. Not, oh, this guy's saying he likes the game, everybody attack him, he's a shill. Like, I don't see how that does anything. Or attacking the developer, oh my god, he's a bad developer, he should be fired. Like, how does that do anything but create a mob to hate people and then make more people not like each other?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and I agree with you. And again, I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I made some of those mistakes, but I also apologize for a lot of them. So all I'm saying is based on my personal experience, is not to do that type of stuff. But I never threatened violence. I never threatened to boycott a game. I never threatened to like beat up somebody. That just to me is very, very silly.
Yeah, but like an example is the whole Jackie ban move in MK11. Instead of that whole thing going around where they were trying to get this petition with all these signatures, I know they had a lot of people sign it, but instead of doing that and then shunning people who didn't want to sign it and attack them for being whatever you want to call them for not signing the thing to get Jackie banned, someone should have just made a video explaining why Jackie should be banned and why she's too broken and people can't play against her and she's too overpowered. Whatever you want to do, so you can convince everybody. That would be the better way to do it instead of the whole mob mentality thing where you have to get everybody to agree with your opinion without explaining and showing it.
No, I definitely agree. Um, and again, I'm not saying I called for Stephanie's job a long time ago, and I met her in person, and I completely apologized, and I said it was my mistake, and we were cool after that. So um, I'm not gonna fall into the trap. Even MK11, I think I went way too far personally with my criticism of the game. With you, with Crimson, and a couple of other people. Like there has to be a point that's like, dude, the game is not for you. Move on. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I never cared if someone didn't like a game. Like, if you come up to me and tell me you hate him, can I think it's the worst game ever? Okay, what's your opinion? I don't see why I should care or not. It doesn't matter what game it is. Like even you always say like Melee or whatever other game is like terrible to joke. I really don't care. If that's how you feel. It's
Yeah,
your
I don't.
opinion. You can have that opinion, but I don't see why I should care about it or take it seriously.
Well, it's up to people if they want to take it seriously or not. But all I'm saying is
Just like when people
the
come to me and
point
be
I
like,
get.
and they're like, MKX is the best game ever. It's the best. I'm like, okay, well, that's your opinion. And now all of a sudden I don't hate them or anything, or I have a grudge on them. Like they like the game. I don't. Is what it is, and you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, Rio, let's wrap it up. I think we've had a really good episode. That's mostly focused on the gameplay, right? So
Yeah, well, I mean, this is kind of weird episode because I know we're going 2026, and I'm sure some people are going to be like, "Why are you guys talking about MK11, like game from 6 years ago or 7 years ago?" Yeah, 7 years ago actually. Wow, time is flying by.
yeah.
I remember when
Hey,
MK11
look.
was the newest and hottest game out, and now it's from 7 years ago. That's crazy.
Well, look. It's an NRS kind of based podcast, right? I don't think there's anything
Yeah, but
wrong
maybe we
with.
could do an episode where we actually talk about either MKX or MK9 or whatever other game instead of. Maybe people want to hear less about MK11 because I feel like most episodes revolve around MK11 or
Not really.
end up being about MK11.
I don't think we've ever actually done an episode like this where we actually kind of broke down some of the stuff, talked about Nightwolf and stuff like that. So I think it was rather interesting and unique in my humble opinion.
True. I mean, it would have been cool to go through all the characters that did get nerfed. If you want to do it really quick,
Yeah.
and then we'll wrap it up. Is that okay?
Let's
Well,
save it,
just-
honestly.
Well, just 10 minutes because then we'll hit the 2 hour mark. Because right now we're at 151.
Okay, fair enough. I
So
mean,
really
it's up to
quickly,
you.
yeah. So really quickly, let's go through. And this is a lot. When you look at it, you're like, wow. You know what? They did tone down a lot of characters in MK11. So, Shang Tsung, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the characters, Sally, that were toned down and nerfed a lot. Nightwolf,
Well, obviously, yes.
Johnny Cage,
Yes.
Sonya.
This one's up to you. I don't remember much about her.
You
But I
remember in the
wanna say-
beginning, she was doing a lot of damage, whatever, and then she got toned down?
Yeah. I don't remember like the specifics, but I believe you're right.
Yeah, she got toned down. I don't know what else. I do remember they toned down her damage. She was doing a lot in the beginning, and people didn't like
Yeah.
her zoning and stuff.
And there might be a couple of strengths as well, but I don't remember the specifics.
Cassie Cage.
Oh yeah, right. Really? Badly,
She was
right?
She was top tier at one point until she got toned down.
Yeah, she got
Jax.
a lot. Yes, I know.
Jax was never top tier, but he had moves that got toned down. So he was also one of the characters that got nerfed. Remember
And
he
he
had the
had-
best fatal blow. Remember that?
Yeah, it was a mid, right? Then they made it a high, right?
Yeah. And I think they slightly tweaked and nerfed a couple of his strings or something to do a little bit less damage, or I forget exactly. Scorpion,
Yes, teleport.
Baraka,
Yes, damage. Damage nerfs.
Jackie.
She's fine. She's top tier. She
Yeah,
more or less
but I
did
mean,
the
did
same.
she get nerfed?
She did, but she.
Yeah, but luckily
her
she still remained good.
Yeah, her nerfs were justified though.
Liu
Like
Kang
whatever she got. I don't.
was
I don't
once he was
remember.
once top tier. He also got toned down
Oh
a lot.
yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
it's crazy.
But
We already named half the cast that got nerfed down. Like that's crazy when you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's crazy.
next we have Katana.
Rio, stop.
Who was your
Not
main?
even
What
that.
happened to Katana? Can you explain to us? For us that didn't follow him, Killian.
Bro, just Highborn, the razors got nerfed. I don't justify the way they were, but like I feel like they should have made it like more complicated. But yeah, essentially that destroyed the character because they made the razors require meter, and once they did, like it was essentially over. Razors one of the best special moves in that game by far at one point, and then yeah, the rest is history. It sucks, man. And I blame not like even the. I just blame the Katana community because they were so ignorant. Like they were.
It's
so
kind of weird because
stupid.
she was top 10 in the beginning with how good she was. And she was kind of like an
Yeah.
anti-meta pick too because how she played. But I remember you telling me the Katana community didn't want her to be good. They wanted her to be nerfed and then give her combos, which is weird because if your character's good, it's usually a blessing. You should probably not want your character to get nerfed out of being good because sometimes your characters don't recover from that once they get nerfed.
Yeah, they were just completely ignorant. Like that character was
Yeah, I didn't follow the whole
amazing.
Katana stuff. I remember you were telling me that. Like, they wanted their good character to get nerfed.
Yeah, ironically, she was good because she kind of avoided the universal mechanics. Where she didn't have to combo you. She could do raises on your wake
Yeah, and
up.
she
And
had decent matchups against other top tiers at the time, like Geras, Aaron, Cetron, stuff like that,
yeah,
which was
yeah,
why she was like in like top 10.
correct. Yeah, and she was a little bit cut it. Well, not a little bit. She was very cut and dry, but like, um, yeah,
Yeah, she wasn't hard to
it
play. She
sucks.
was very easy.
Yeah, but it sucks. Yeah, it
Okay,
sucks to
after
see
her,
her.
Kung Lao.
That's on you. I don't know much about that character.
He was nerfed a lot. Next character, Jade.
Nerf,
Next,
but still good.
yeah,
Still good.
she was still, I'd say bottom of top 10 right now in MK. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was toned down from beta to some stuff. Next character, RoboCop.
Overrated and garbage.
Bro,
I don't know if
he's
was
like
ever
at the
nerfed.
bottom of top 10, and I don't think he was nerfed. He was kind of maybe slightly rebalanced or slightly buffed in some patches, but yeah, I mean,
No.
he's
His
what do you-
matchups against top tiers is complete like good luck, man. Like it's so annoying. It's
yeah, I mean,
so
he has some
bad.
annoying matchups like I guess Jackie Cabal, but he's still one of the better characters.
Fujin.
Yeah, you could argue
Uh,
Fujin.
any of the top tiers like destroy him. Aside from Joker, that matchup is bearable. Like like I would never use that character competitively. Complete waste of time. Useless.
Scarlet,
Nerfed from the beta a lot.
super nerf from the beta. Aaron Black,
Yeah, yeah. Well, obviously nerfed to shit.
Devora.
Buffed.
I heard Devora
Right.
was super nerfed. So apparently, people that were playing MK11 before the day one patch hit for the game was officially released. I remember
Yeah.
Honeybee and a couple others were playing it. They were like, "Oh my god, Devore's so fun and good." And then once the day one patch hit, that shit destroyed the character. But I don't want to say she was nerfed when the game came out because I guess we weren't supposed to see how she played before day one. But I heard she was good as hell before the day one patch. Like before the day one like live server patch came out, like her moves are and they gutted her. But yeah, I mean, she's kind of tricky. She was slightly buffed throughout the game, but she just remained low tier.
Yeah. That's what I
Kodo
meant. Yeah,
Khan.
she was like, well, I mean, he's still strong, right? Like, I think he's still top
Yeah,
10.
he was
so-
like near the top 10 range or maybe slightly outside it. I don't remember
Yeah, I
if they
think he's-
nerfed him exactly. I think they did something, but they also gave him some slight buffs in return.
yeah, he's fine. Like, the character's fine.
Yeah, Shiva.
Skip. Oh, obvious. Got absolutely annihilated. Like, got
I
the
forgot
death
she's even
shot.
in the game.
She got the death shot treatment. She got the Injustice 1 Scorpio treatment. Like, she
Rambo.
was absolutely... Never
So
got buffed.
I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm trying to make sure we end at 2 hours and not because right
Yeah,
now we're
yeah,
at 157. Rambo.
Yeah. Whatever. Like, low tier.
He's a character I never really saw or explored much of. I didn't really follow him. I just know he was barely played when I was playing Combat League.
Yeah. But I
Terminator.
think it's low tier. Same. Remained the same.
They nerfed his armor move and some other stuff, but for the most part, he was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Geras.
Nerfed.
Collector.
Nerfed, right?
They did tweak some stuff about him, but they also gave him some stuff in return. He was like, kind of like Kodal, like slightly reworked or buffed or slightly
Yeah.
nerfed. Sindel,
Stayed the same. Good.
Melina. She stayed the same.
Yes, he stayed the same as well. You would know
Cetrion,
better. Nerfed, but still good.
Fujin,
Stay the same.
Rain,
Stay the same.
Shao Kahn,
Buffed.
and then did I say Joker already? And then his last character, Joker.
Well, he got slightly nerfed, but he mostly stayed the same.
Yeah, he was
so
still
he's-
good. And then I forgot Kano. I think he
I
was
don't
slightly
remember.
buffed. I don't think they
Yeah.
nerfed him. I think he had that one bug with a projectile and the thing that was doing extra damage. But aside from that, he was mostly the same. So yeah, dude,
Yeah, I think
it seems like 70-80% of cast was nerfed. And that's
Yeah.
crazy how they toned down so many characters.
yeah,
When you think about it, it's like, wow, that's a lot. I forgot all these other characters that used to be top that got gutted, like Liu Kang, Cassie, and so on. Like until I was looking at a character select right now, I'm like, damn, they went crazy in some of these characters.
Yeah, even some of the characters who were not winning, like Kitana or Nightwolf, right? Like they were not winning and they still got
Yeah.
nerfed.
I mean, they weren't even like S tier. They had a very simplistic game plan with a, you know, easy to enforce thing that got, I guess, looked at and addressed.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, I just wanted to, I guess, go through the character select real quick. We could wrap it up now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was a good idea.
Any closing words you want to say?
Not particularly. Just again, happy New Year to everybody, and as always, thank you for supporting our podcast, and for better or worse, or thank you for being patient with us with our sometimes with our crazy arguments. Um, we hope to have a guest. We'll see when we'll record the next podcast, and hopefully we can go back to a regular, schedule with Tom and having a guest on. In the meantime, again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and um, thank you for watching and sticking around.
Yeah, I
Leo,
agree.
you give the last word.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody again, and thank you for listening to episode 57. Let us know what you think. Do you guys feel that games should be changed in a manner where it's more about nerfing or buffing, or do you think it should be more in a way that it's about creating a game that's fun, whether to get to that point you need to nerf some stuff or you need to buff some stuff? Let us know. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you again for watching.